like it could be because we called it 500. That's where it went. I mean, maybe if we'd said 1,000, we'd have 1,000 by now.
An encore performance.
All right, we're live.
The royal court of Princess Donut has spoken.
We're here. Donut is playing us in.
We already hit 500.
Did we? All right, 525, 530. 530. You guys are amazing. Like, before it even started, like, immediately hit the goal.
So if we get 600, he's going to get a face tattoo.
Do not tease these folks, sir. Oh, wait, and then did it just drop to 363? And everyone's like, okay, that's enough. We had enough. So yeah, everybody, thank you so much for coming. Really happy about this. We've hit our goal. That means I will be getting the donut tattoo on my ass. Can we turn the music down just a little bit? Yeah, that means that it's time. Like, I think by the end of this stream, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up with a stretch goal. As in, like, how many, the next thing that we're gonna do. I mean, Matt said 600 for a face tattoo. I feel like that's a little low to get a fucking face tattoo. Probably not gonna happen. You guys need to get to, like, dude, I'm not even gonna say because it might happen, and I don't want a face tattoo. But yeah, we'll have to come up with
an ass tattoo either, but here we are.
Hey, look. Here's the great thing about having an ass tattoo is it gives me an excuse to expose myself in public more often.
True that.
Yeah. So
you don't really need an excuse. I've seen you drunk.
All right. So 1,000 for a dick tattoo. Jay Davila says, "You guys are just what do you call it? Sadists. Sadists is what you all are. All four cheeks." Someone said. All right, so Matt Dinniman is here with us, if you guys didn't know already, and also Samantha is joining us in the background. There, Naboo. Oh, yep. like the Star Wars place.
She's a big Jar Jar fan.
Oh, that makes total sense. I wish I'd known that so I could have based her voice around him a little bit. But yeah, you guys, this is it. I've been waiting alongside all of you to get to this book. I'm so happy that we're here. We're ready for this next installment. And yeah, let's go with this. Matt, tell us a little bit about the journey that you've gone on writing this, and I think we can kill the donut music. Thank you, Donuts. Thank you, Donuts, I said.
That's still singing.
God damn it, Donut. Thank you. All right, yes. So, Matt.
Yes.
It's been a long, hard road. Is this the longest book you've ever written?
Easily. The final version of this book that is going to be showing up on your Kindles on July 2nd is 260,000 and like 100. Oh, actually, I have it right here. 261,154 words. That's my target was 175, 180. So I only overshot by 85,000 words.
By an entire novel. Yeah. An extra novel. You tacked an extra.
Yeah.
It's like attaching a whole Siamese twin to the damn thing. So
and I made it longer on because I put a bunch of stuff in this one that I was originally planning on putting in the next one, and the next one's probably, I don't plan on making them all longer, but I suspect the next one's going to be a chunker of a book also.
Okay. Because this is also going to be my longest audiobook, at 260-something thousand words. We're talking almost 30 hours. So
yeah,
I'm really, I think a lot of narrators would be like, Well, at least doing royalty share, they'd be like, but for me, it's like, yes, more Carl and Donut content. I can't wait because I just want to spend all my time with these characters, and I feel like you guys do too. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why you're here. So, when it comes to the plot of this one, I love how you just like went through an entire floor and maybe a few pages last book. So we're jumping ahead. We're now on book 6, floor 8, right?
Correct.
And we are dealing with cards. First of all, I'm gonna tell you guys that this show is a little bit of false advertising. It is called Cold Reads, but I'm not reading it cold this time. I have made it through about 30% of the book as a pre-read. Every day I'm going to be reading even more, just getting further and further ahead because, like I wanted to be more prepared for this one. So who are we looking at as far as new characters? And spoilers, everybody, we're going to be talking we're going to be a little bit meta here, and we're going to be talking about things. We won't worry too much about you guys getting spoiled because you're here. You're Uber fans, and I think you're in for it, right?
Yeah. So we meet. They're in a new location. It's kind of similar setup to the 5th floor where everyone is separated out. And Donut and Carl come into a new location and they meet a few crawlers who are new to them, who they have to work with. In addition, again, it's card based, and kind of think like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, where they're gonna throw out Donut is gonna throw out the cards, and these monsters that they collect and utilize have personalities of their own. And some of them even have their own little mini stories and arcs and all that stuff that may or may not come into play. And those are mostly the people we're going to meet. We still have old friends coming. The floor is separated into 3 parts. They start at one location, they're going to move to another location, and then the third part is big spoiler. But yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
All right.
But I'm fucking with Jeff with this one a little bit too. He has to like break out his Spanish accent, his Icelandic accent. Cuban. You're
Cuban
correct. Accent. I apologize. Cuban accent, his Icelandic, and a few other things.
Oh boy, yes, Icelandic. Okay, so first of all, I forgot that now there's no
We're not
Icelandic
get to
in the
any
first few chapters. It's going to be a while. But anyone out there in the chat who are fans of this book who know some Icelanders, please get them to come in here. Maybe join our Discord channel. There's a bunch of links in the description here that will take you to number 1, the Kindle version of Dungeon Crawler Carl 6, which is still available on pre-order. But also you can get the paperback right now if you want to. That's already available. We also have the link to the audiobook series on Audible for anyone who just happens upon this stream who's never heard of Dungeon Crawler Carl and wants to know what the fuck this is all about. And there's a link to Matt's Patreon. There's a link to Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon Episode 1 here on YouTube if you guys want to check that out. It's our cinematic audio version of that series, which I'm very, very proud of, and something that you guys will want to check out if you're curious about what the Dungeon Crawler Carl audio immersion tunnel is going to be like. So that is going to be, for any of you who don't know, we are basically rebooting the series with full cast, sound effects, and music, and that will be available exclusive on the Sound Booth Theater platform. The first episode is going to be available for free, and it's going to come out the exact same day that Dungeon Crawler Carl 6 audiobook is available. So if you want to know what that's going to be like, go check out our version of Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon. Like I said, first episode of that is free, so you'll be able to hear exactly what we're able to do. And we're going to do an even better job with Dungeon Crawler Carl. So yeah, check those links in our description. And before we get started, Matt, do you have anything else you want to say to 660 people here?
No, I'm just happy to be here. Thanks so much. Follow me on Twitter, Matt Dinniman. Join the subreddit, Dungeon Crawler Carl, if you're on Reddit. 666 watchers. That's pretty awesome. Heavy metal. And I have the word Yakima in this book, so hopefully Jeff pronounces it correctly this time.
Yakima?
Yeah, it's a city named Yakima. You pronounce it Yakima in the first book,
No.
even though I told you about it. And every time I have a show anywhere in Washington State, at least 5 different people give me shit about it.
Okay, Yakima, not
No,
Yakima.
not Yakima. Yakima.
Yakima.
Think of it. Yeah.
For some reason, you know what? It's when I see stuff spelled exactly that way, I'm always thinking Japanese. Yakima, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, well, thank you for coming, Matt. As long as you're here, make sure to interrupt me and make fun of me if I get any other names of towns wrong, or if you want to hear a different voice. And we're going to start off with your dedication here. I think we're going to... I love your dedication. It's so good. I think I'm going to narrate your dedication with Donut's voice, maybe. Let's see. Oops, crap. Yeah, here we go. Here we
You're
go.
all
This is what we need.
fuzzy all of a sudden.
Uh-oh.
Like your voice is modulated.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that, guys. Just a little technical difficulty there. Where'd it go? Here it is.
As always, this book couldn't exist without all the fans out there giving me support and kudos and love and weird 3 a.m. messages that may or may not be threats. I love you all. That said, love equals respect. You don't send butthole pics to people you respect. Please stop sending them. Especially you, Dwight. Holy shit, you need to see a goddamned doctor. Rebecca, on the other hand, we good.
All right. Here goes.
That's true, by the way. So, not the Rebecca part, the Dwight part.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't be that lucky. All right, let's see.
But if anyone named Rebecca wants to send me butthole pics, I'm down.
Be careful, dude. Be careful.
Yeah.
There's lots of people named Rebecca nowadays.
OMG. What a flaw. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for signing up for the Princess Posse Fan Club newsletter. This is the only official fan club. I heard rumours of another group called the Donut Holes, and while I appreciate their enthusiasm, this is the only place to get this newsletter. I absolutely do not approve of the name Donut Holes. Anyway, my name is GC.
Here we go. Gotta start that over.
My name is GCBWRNW Princess Donut the Queen and Chonk, and I'm here to give you a quick recap of what happened on the last few floors. I know we should have been doing this the whole time, and perhaps I will talk Carl into going back and helping me write proper recaps of what happened. Ran out of breath.
Let's try this again.
I know we should have been doing this the whole time, and perhaps I will talk Carl into going back and helping me write proper recaps of what happened in the past. But you're here now, and we're about to start the 8th floor. Here's what happened on the 6th and 7th. The 6th floor started with Carl temporarily giving up the Gate of the Feral Gods to Oren the Liaison, because he was afraid Carl would get all Carly and use it to ruin the floor. I didn't see this happen, but I imagine Carl was all grumpy about it. It ended up being a good thing because we get... It ended up being a good thing. Where did it go? Oh, no. There it is. It ended up being a good thing because we got Sledgy and 3 other Cretin. This is an English accent, y'all.
All right.
It ended up being a good thing because we got Sledgy and 3 other Cretin. It ended up being a good thing because we got Sledgy and 3 other cretin rock bodyguards to escort us for the next 3 floors in exchange. Isn't that great? I got the most exquisite temporary class. I was a legendary diva. I could cast spells when I sing. I hear my album will soon be available on tunneling platforms, so be sure to upgrade to Ultimate Supreme Fan Tier 3 or above to get a free 10-second preview of each song before they're released. This was the floor where the stupid hunters were trying to kill us. That didn't work out too well for them, now did it? There was this one bug lady, and her name was Vraw. We killed her annoying little sister right in the beginning, and that made Vraw really mad. When Carl went to that lame crawl-con later on, he met Vraw's mom and made her really mad too. So mad, she flew all the way to Earth just to participate as a god named Dewata.
I almost said goddamned.
So mad.
Samantha down.
Say again?
I said Samantha down, she fell. Keep going, sorry, apologies.
Oh, shit. For those of you, this may be my favorite piece of music that we composed for the audio immersion tunnel. This will be Audette's theme song. This is just a little preview for you guys. Yeah. Anyway, let's get this going.
So mad, where did this go? So mad, she flew all the way to Earth just to participate as a god named Dewata. Kotia left the party so she could hunt down Eva, her player-killer ex-best friend, and that was really sad because I liked being in a party with Kotia. She managed to get Eva in the end, though, and I really hope she'll come back to the party. I love Carl, of course, but it would be nice to have her back. I miss having her with us. I suppose now that she's in love with Daniel Bautista, he'd have to come with her. That would be okay, too, even if he looks like a giant...
Generic brand.
That would be okay too, even if he looks like a generic brand Tony the Tiger. We learned at the end of the floor there would be a party with a talent contest and pet show for the hunters and the top 50 crawlers. It would be at the High Elf Castle, led by the mean Queen Imogen. The party was called the Butcher's Masquerade. My Mongo met a few fellow dinosaurs, including a female Mongoliensis named Kiwi. Honestly, I don't want to talk about how that started.
I need this to follow me.
Honestly, I don't want to talk about how that started because it was highly traumatic for my brave, sweet boy, whose innocence was savagely ripped away from him. He's still healing. Also, way back on the 3rd floor, we met a broad-deficient elite named Signet, covered in gross tattoos. You may have seen her show, as Carl and I were both guest stars. It was called Vengeance of the Daughter, as Carl and I were
Let's get rid of that. There it is. Okay.
Carl was contractually bound to continue with that story, which was to help her reclaim her crown and defeat Queen Imogen of the High Elves, who helped kill Signet's mother a long time ago. My friend Prepotente and his former person, Miriam Dom, got in a bit of trouble and, unfortunately, Miriam Dom passed away. But Prepotente was a very brave goat about it. Miriam used to have another goat too, one named Bianca, who is quite friendly when you get to know her. She's a demon goat dragon thing. She's a demon goat dragon thing?
Where'd it go?
She's a demon goat dragon thing, and she and Prepotente are off on their own now. I got into a little tussle with a crawler named Lucia Ma, and I killed one of her disgusting dogs, who absolutely deserved it. We later found out that there's something weird going on with Lucia Ma that I honestly just don't understand. But Florin, our crocodilian friend who says he's from France but was in Africa and has an Australian accent, is determined to find out that full story. He used to hate her because Lucia killed his girlfriend, but now they're friends. I think. I'm not sure, honestly. We had a quest to find and help a giant Allosaurus ballerina named...
Sorry, that's a hard sentence to just throw together real quick.
We had a quest to find and help a giant Allosaurus ballerina named Big Tina. It turns out Kiwi is Big Tina's mom, and they both used to be bears. They were changed when Scolopendra, the final boss of the whole dungeon, attacked a long time ago. And then my ex... And then my ex-boyfriend, Ferdinand, just randomly showed up, thinking he could just waltz right back into my life and I could... Damn, that's a hard one. And then my ex-boyfriend, Ferdinand, just randomly showed up, thinking he could just waltz right back into my life and I would swoon over him. As if he was now the pet of Queen Imogen of the High Elves. All of this time, we were preparing for the Butcher's Masquerade. Mongo prepared for the pet show, training tirelessly, and I coordinated for the talent show. Carl figured out that Queen Imogen would be a country boss, and we had to be ready for it. When the party came, all of this stuff happened at once. Signet finally got her revenge against Imogen, though it was really sad because she could Signet finally got her revenge against Imogen, though it was really sad because she had to kill herself to do it. My Mongo and Kiwi killed Vra, and I helped kill her mom with my laundry day spell. Carl killed the last hunter, meaning we got all of them. At the same time, you guys really pulled through. We used the funds from the fan club, and OMG, we did it! We bought a spot on Faction Wars. Thanks to Carl and Sledgy, we got all of Signet's former tattoos and helpers, Kiwi and Tina, and all of the changelings into the elf castle, and we teleported the whole castle to the 9th floor, meaning we now have an official army. Ferdinand too, though we don't know if he's going to help us when we get there. Carl and I are now 9th floor warlords. Isn't that great? There's not much we can do about that on this new 8th floor, but because we're warlords, we can vote for stuff that happens in faction wars. Carl is trying to make it so we can really kill each other. What?
Okay, all right, not each other, like everybody.
Carl is trying to make it so we can really kill each other. Carl is trying to make it so we can really kill each other. Nobody thinks that's going to happen. We'll see. Carl is good at making impossible things possible. It wasn't all good. Lots of sad things happened. My friend Firaz died. He was really nice. Another guy named Gideon died. I didn't know him very well, except in the chat, but Carl was sad because he'd talked Gideon into helping us. Gwendolyn Duet died. This mushroom guy who was a really good singer died. The Popov brothers died too, but then something amazing happened. They turned into babies and were kicked out of the game. Zev said they were okay. That made everyone happy. Also, the crime of the century was committed during the Butcher's Masquerade. An evil, vile, experience hog crawler named Serendil Gore somehow managed to get her hands on the voting ballot box for the pet show and changed the votes, stealing Mongo's crown from him and handing it over to...
Fuck. Almost got that one.
An evil, vile, experience hog crawler named Serendil Gore somehow managed to get her hands on the voting ballot box for the pet show and changed the votes, stealing Mongo's crown from him and handing it off to her disgusting meatball pet, Garrett. I want you guys to continue to pore over the footage and find the smoking gun. I've seen some of your investigative efforts so far. That's really hard to say, investigative efforts. I've seen some of your investigative efforts so far, and I'm looking forward to more. We need definitive proof. We will stop this injustice. Hashtag justice for Mongo. I, of course, found myself at the top of the crawler list after my performance at the talent show. And then, right when we thought we were going to the 7th floor, Prepotente broke the whole damn thing. We pretty much went straight from the 6th to the 8th, but not before I briefly chose a new class. I was a Viper Queen for a few minutes. And that's it. I know, I'm missing so much. I didn't talk about Samantha and the body Signet gave her to use, or how Brittany got burned, or how Tran lost his legs, or about how Zev got a promotion because the Borant government lost control. Whew. I didn't talk about Samantha and the body Signet gave her to use, or how Brittany got burned, or how Tran lost his legs, or about how Zev got a promotion because the Borant government lost control of the crawl to the Valte brainworms, or that weird ring Carl got that I think is giving him headaches. Nor have I talked about Miss Beatrice's return and appearance on our debts program. It's not worth examining, and I haven't thought about it once since it happened. It's not worth examining. It's not worth examining, and I haven't thought about it once since it happened, and there's nothing more to discuss. Anyway, thank you again for subscribing. Remember to pay your dues. If you forget, you stop getting the newsletter and all the other great benefits, and we don't want that. For an extra 20 credits a week, you get access to the super exclusive Team Mongo Mommies, which grants entrance to the Platinum Private Mongo Mommies chat room, officially licensed Mongo merch, along with access to a very special song I wrote all about him. I love you all. XOXO. Best in Dungeon, current reigning champion. Sorry, that's hard to read because of the font. H, is that HBWR?
It's GCBWR.
GC, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Best in Dungeon, current reigning champion, GC, BWR, NW, Princess Donut, the Queen, and Chonk, co-warlord of the Princess Posse Faction Wars team. That was a great recap. All right, so first narration. Donut's first narration. Done. All right, let's see. I need to set something here. There we go. All right, how's everybody doing? Where are we at?
You gonna do the prologue next?
Yes, prologue is up next.
Awesome.
Okay, so this is now, was it book 5 or book 3 the first time that we switched to just me as the normal narrator? Was it the end of book 3 when we met B and Brad the Chad?
That's the end of book 4. I can't remember what we have at the end of. I don't remember. It's too early.
Someone says, why is the prologue just constant goat screams? All right. Well, I hope you guys are having fun. On to the prologue. Now, this is actually from a previous crawl. And we're going to meet Audette as a crawler. We're going to meet Mordecai as a
game
crawler.
guide.
Yeah.
Odette is a game guide.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the game. She's not in the same crawls. Back then, the game guides could actually travel around with them, but they were non-corporeal. This is discussed earlier too, but so she's not really physically there. She's still in her game guide room, but Mordecai's really there. Chaco's really there. Uzi is really there, and the other one holds.
Wait, how did you pronounce that last name?
Uzi, which
Uzi.
is how you pronounced them on a previous book, I believe.
We
don't want to call him Uzi because there's another character that has Uzi in his name.
Uzi Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. No, I have not picked the tattoo yet. We will discuss that some more at the end of this stream, I think.
Yeah, and she's the manager at this point, not the game guide, but the actual
the manager. All right. So that explains why she's not a bird person.
GC stands for Grand Champion, BWR stands for Breed Winner, and NC stands for National Champion. Someone asked in the chat.
Yes,
That's for cat shows.
Indeed. All right, here goes. Normal Jeff narration. No Carl yet. And is this chapter 1?
It's a prologue. It says it's prologue 1, even though it's just a prologue. In the book, chapter 1 starts with chapter 1. So.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to leave that 1 off then because I think it's a little confusing. Prologue. Warning. Level collapse is imminent. It's 2 gods! Audette cried. Get ready! The twin monstrosities appeared, towering out of the mist like a pair of uneven mountains. One was almost 3 times the size of the other. Audette hadn't been expecting there to be 2 gods, but she wasn't surprised. The summoning box did that sometimes, especially this deep.
2 gods?
Chaco shouted from his spot near the stairwell.
Is it still going to work?
Gods, I hope so, Audette muttered. Her non-corporeal avatar floated between her crawlers and the 2 storm deities. She zoomed with her helmet, trying to see what gods they were. Relief flooded her when she focused on the smaller of the 2, Dodola, which was who Mordecai had been attempting to summon. The other, larger deity was a dad.
A dad or a dod?
A dad?
You could hear I couldn't decide how to pronounce that while I was saying it.
Let's say a dad. The other, larger deity was a dad.
There we go.
Audette.
You need to get back here.
Mordecai.
I'm trying. I don't think I can fly in this downpour. Are they storm gods? Did it work?
Audette.
It worked. Now hurry. Don't let them see you. Try your Slake Raven form.
Sizzling acid rain poured from the heavens, melting everything it touched. Audette zoomed in further, watching the aura of both the gods. The hulking form of a dad was AI-controlled. The smaller, female Dodola was sponsored. The name... How's this? Huanxin? Huanxin? I think you're muted.
Okay, I forgot she was on here. I found a YouTube thing that pronounces it for her, because it's a pretty common name in Chinese.
I'm going to guess it's like ZH. Huanjin.
Huaxin.
Huaxin. Oh, the N is silent?
It's like washing. Let me find another one. Guanxin. That's another one. We need to get this right, because she's like
Chinese as fuck.
Yeah, she's a major character from this point forward.
Okay.
Guanxin. I don't know. I don't speak Chinese.
Any Chinese speakers in the audience? Huanxin as the name. My best guess is Huanjin. Huanjin. I love how the chat is just going nuts. Just all this random stuff. Usually I can follow it. Yeah, Huanxin is how you spell it.
Guanxin.
Sheen. Okay, so it's not ZH, it's SH. Yes, pronounce Chinese in a text chat, please.
If anyone has a link, because I just went through like 4 different links and they all have it slightly differently.
A lighter SH. Like Charlie, but less Coke?
What?
I keep seeing Tony Romero say, Jeff. Yes, that's me. Okay. Rename the character, someone says. All right. I think I'm going to go Huanxin.
Okay.
Huanxin. The name Huanxin blazed there with a little green dot, meaning the Grixis sponsor was present and driving the storm goddess. She opened a new chat window. Audette.
Infusing the summoning box with a chain lightning potion worked.
It's Juan Sheen like you said it would be.
The floor was almost done. The 9 puzzle pieces had all been collected. They just needed one more activation, and the 4 crawlers could leave and enter the stairwell down to the 11th floor. Let's try that again. They just needed one more activation, and the 4 crawlers could leave and enter the stairwell down to the 11th floor. She looked nervously at the clock. It would be close. Armida. Okay, so Armida is... She's another person on the team, right? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Matt. You're muted.
Sorry, I've been muting. Armida is not a crawler. She's a former crawler like Odette is. She's actually in a different type of game guide that's all in here. It's pretty obvious. She's the same race as Odette.
Okay.
Which is a human.
Right. Got it.
I'm not certain about this. Odette, this was your God's damned idea. We don't have time. Tell her we're in place and that we have a deal.
Armida.
I already did. She just wrote back. She wants a bigger cut. She says 10% is too little. She wants 33.
Odette.
God's damn it. You tell that rich cunt we don't need her then. She can just fuck off. We summoned 2 gods. We'll use the other one.
The bonus Odette received if Mordecai reached the 11th floor would be just enough money that she could buy residency berth in the inner system. Residency berth in the inner system.
A residency berth.
Got it. The bonus Odette received if Mordecai reached the 11th floor would be just enough money that she could buy a residency berth in the inner system. She wouldn't be considered wealthy by any means, not like she would if Mordecai reached the 12th, but she would have just enough to get herself settled. She would be a citizen, guaranteed shelter and oxygen and food, which would allow her to finally be safe. She'd have access to free body regeneration, allowing her to regrow her legs. She'd have access to free body regeneration, allowing her to regrow her legs. She'd finally be able to put this nightmare behind her. She still had 5 seasons left on her indentureship, but per her contract, they'd knock 9 seasons off if one of her crawlers reached the 11th floor. If they opened that stairwell and Mordecai made it down, Odette would be free. Finally. But if she paid 33% of her bonus to that raging bitch, she wouldn't have enough money. She'd have to settle somewhere as a non-citizen, always scrambling. It'd take another 100 cycles to earn enough. And only if she was lucky enough to get a job. It would never end. Even that 10% she'd already promised was cutting it close. She thought of Juan Sheen Jinx, the Grixist heiress. Grixist. Oh my god, too many NXs. Okay. She thought of Juan Sheen Jinx, the Grixist heiress who'd sponsored. Bleh. She thought of Juan Sheen Jinx, the Grixist heiress. Okay. She thought of Juan Sheen Jinx, the Grixist heiress who sponsored Dodala every season. Did that even sound right? She thought of Juan Sheen Jinx, the Grixist heiress who sponsored Dodala every season. Odette pictured herself strangling the thin-necked, hairy bitch until all 6 eyes popped out of her head. They could quadruple that bonus, and it would be nothing but a day's allowance to Juan Sheen. She wasn't doing this for the money. This was how she entertained herself. The ascendancy battles didn't start until the crawlers reached the 12th floor or they were zeroed out, and the heiress was bored. Nothing more. Armida, Odette's friend and former party member, had secured herself a gig as a demigod attendant for the Celestial Ascendancy. Let's try that again. Armida, Audette's friend and former party member, had secured herself a gig as a demigod attendant for the Celestial Ascendancy, and this whole scheme had been her idea. The AI subroutines didn't regularly monitor communications between NPCs, and they were legally forbidden from monitoring Ascendancy sponsor communications. She was working as the go-between. When it became clear that Mordecai's team was going to need the intervention of a storm god to survive, it had been Armida who suggested talking to Huan Xin. They'd ask the rich heiress if she'd be willing to drive Dodola to the door location and hit the puzzle with a spell. She'd agreed. For a price. Without the bribe, the legality of having Armida break character and ask a sponsor for their assistance was sketchy at best. Once money became involved, it clearly became cheating, especially since Audette would be reaping actual credits as a result of the help. It was cheating, and it was fraud. But what choice did she have? This whole 10th floor had been a disaster. From the start, the crawlers were given a choice of 4 tracks. Uzi had blindly chosen the most difficult path. The location of the exit was revealed, but multiple steps had to be completed in order to open the door. Less than 200 crawlers had survived the faction war's chaos, which was usual. The Skyfowl seasons typically ended with a 9th floor slaughter. The idiots always wanted to participate in the fighting. Half of the survivors had taken deals right at the beginning of the 10th, and then half of the rest had died making their way through the floor. Audette only knew of 5 others who'd made it to the 11th so far. Mordecai still hadn't returned. His ability to change forms had made him the best candidate to place the summoning box and activate it. He'd had to place it far enough away where they had time to prime the puzzle, but not too far so the god wouldn't notice them. Behind her, Chaco, Hold Steady, and Uzi worked furiously to prepare the final ritual. Chaco was a wolf-headed Terralikos? Chaco was a wolf-headed Terralikos. The other 2 had chosen to remain Skyfowl, like 91% of their kind. Hold Steady worked his magic, keeping the puzzle pieces primed. Chaco plucked at the strings of his tar, attracting the attention of the gods with his bard magic. Uzi guarded them both. The Skyfowl warrior had limited magic, despite his Storm Commander class, but he had a party protection spell that kept the caustic rain from burning them all. Mordecai eats Choco Tacos. Yeah, okay, someone said, did I miss something? Floor 10, this is a prologue. This is from a different crawl. The 9 pieces pulsed red a few times before turning blue. It was ready. Only one last step remained. The puzzle needed to physically touch a storm god or be hit with a god-tier storm magic. Nope. The puzzle needed to physically touch a storm god or be hit with god-tier storm magic. If either of those happened, the key would form and the door would open. But it wasn't as simple as dropping the completed puzzle disc. on the head of a god from afar. The puzzle needed to stay primed, constantly infused with magic, which required Hold Steady to remain nearby, and the puzzle had to remain within the circle of the stairwell. This last part was next to impossible, and they'd all wanted to take a deal rather than risk not making it. Audette had already earned her 10th floor bonus no matter what happened. She'd convinced them to go for it, despite the difficulty. It wasn't all greed. She liked all the party members, especially Mordecai. It was never worth it to take a deal on the 10th floor. Never. They were better off dead. They were close. So damn close. Armida.
I'm not telling her that, Audette. You know how petty she is.
If they could get either storm god to hit the puzzle with a spell, any spell, they'd be good to go. If Chaco's lightning rod song worked properly, any spells thrown in their general direction would hit the target. The problem was the crawlers needed to remain nearby. The whole level was about to collapse. It was always a bad idea to stay in the vicinity of a god. Always. Huan Xin had the ability to enchant the rain. She could make it healing rain or turn each drop into a mob or 1,000 other things. It was already raining. All she needed to do was cast the spell. The magic rain would hit the puzzle, and that would be enough. All 4 party members would make it to the 11th floor, and then they could reevaluate their survival chances. If Huan Xin refused to help, they still had a dad. He was likely to summon a cloud of lightning-shooting bugs at any moment. With Chaco's spell, the bugs would still target the puzzle. It wasn't ideal, but it would work. Warning. Level collapse will commence in -3. The number 99 appeared flashing in her interface. The units started to count down. Audette cursed herself for getting involved in this. They could have done it without cheating. She hadn't trusted the team. This would have worked without the bribe. Audette.
What is taking you so long?
Mordecai. I'm grounded, in a bipedal form. I didn't have enough power to choose anything else. I'm too far from Uzzie's protection, and I have to use my climate refuge spell. Audette.
Hurry your feathered ass!
Mordecai. I think the 2 gods are about to fight. Audette. Probably not this time. Dodola. Audette didn't finish. She watched in horror as Dodola suddenly turned and stabbed something into the leg of the much larger Adad. Let's try again. Dodola. Audette didn't finish. Let's try this one more time. Probably not this time. Dodola. She watched in horror as Dodola suddenly turned and stabbed something into the leg of the much larger Adad. The god disappeared. She'd teleported him away. She turned toward the 3 crawlers and started casually marching in their direction. Armida.
She says she's changed her mind again. Now she wants 50%, and if you don't agree, she's going to zero out the party. I'm sorry, Audette. This is all my fault.
Gods damn it. She had to agree. What else could she do? She looked back at the 3 crawlers huddled by the exit. The round puzzle floated in midair with Uzzie and Hold Steady right behind it. Chaco stood to the side, still plucking at his instrument. But then, a wave of anger washed over Audette. She thought of the dungeon AI, forcing her to choose between saving Armida and Pieter. Pieter? I think... Matt, you're still muted.
Pieter.
Like, I just want to say it with a Russian accent. Pieter.
That's exactly what it is. Just do a Peter with a Russian accent. You'll be fine.
She thought of the dungeon AI, forcing her to choose between saving Armida and Pieter. She'd only had seconds. Her best friend versus her cousin. She'd picked her friend. For Audette's entire life, people were taking advantage of her, forcing her to submit, to choose, telling her what to do. They'd taken her entire planet, her people, her family. Pieter was a good, sweet boy, but he wasn't as strong as Armida. They'd forced Audette to fight, forced her to work in this dungeon for so long. Every step forward she'd made was only because she'd first had to ask someone else's permission to do so. She was tired of always being bullied. She was tired of being forced to choose between 2 equally terrible results. She looked up at the approaching deity. Huan Xin Jinx. Fuck that bitch. Audette.
Armida. Tell her we don't have a deal.
Armida.
Are you sure?
Audette.
Yes.
She then moved to a new chat, but before she could type out the message, she was interrupted by Mordecai. Mordecai. Dodola is a sponsored god. She's not going to help us. I'm sorry, my friends. I have a plan, but it's going to kill me. Uzzie. See you on the other side, brother. Uzzie.
All right, I need a new voice for Uzzy. Still gonna be redneck, but like, let's see. What do we do with it? Want to go deep? Let's go deep. Do not even dare. Audette waved away her first message. Audette waved away her first message and moved to her private chat with Mordecai. Audette.
What the hells are you doing?
Mordecai. My final blow skill. It lets me target the puzzle. It's at the top of the list. Audette, I think this is what I'm supposed to do with it. It's why the AI gave it to me.
If Mordecai targeted the puzzle and then got himself hit with a spell from the god, the puzzle would also get hit by the spell. Up until now, the skill only allowed him to target individuals. He'd been using it to great effect, allowing him to find invisible and hidden mobs. It was a desperate last act. He wouldn't be protected from the spell. If Mordecai died, Audette's season would be done. She'd be stuck here for 5 more crawls at least. The timer was down to 65 units. Audette.
Wait 30 units. Keep moving toward us. Let me try something first.
Before he could answer, she pulled that second chat back up. Audette.
Chaco, do you have the dart?
Chaco.
Yes? But how can that help now?
They'd spent half of their time on this floor hunting down the priceless artifact only for it to be useless. When they'd learned that it had to be a specific type of god to unlock the puzzle, it had ruined all of their plans, since none of them had been a storm god before this. This whole floor had been them choosing between 4 paths, and each time they'd ended up picking the worst possible choice. They'd instead had to find the summoning cube, which wasn't much better.
You missed a line.
Uh-oh. Which one?
None of them had seen a storm god before this.
Had been. I said had been. When they'd learned that it had to be a specific type of god to unlock the puzzle, it had ruined all of their plans, since none of them... When they'd learned that it had to be a specific type of god to unlock the puzzle, it had ruined all of their plans, since none of them had even... When they'd learned that it had to be a specific type of god to unlock the puzzle, it had ruined all of their plans, since none of them had seen a storm god before this. There we go. I think I need to... There we go. Turn that off and turn this on, and... Camera audio. Let's go to loopback. Can everybody still hear me? All right, good. To be useless. When they'd learned God before this whole floor had been them choosing between 4 paths. That sounded clumsy as well. This whole floor had been This whole floor had been them choosing between 4 paths, and each time they'd ended up picking the worst possible choice. They'd instead had to find the summoning cube, which wasn't much better.
If only it had been a holy grenade. They'd been everywhere on the previous floor.
Audette.
There's only one way to survive. Worship Dodala, and then use the dart.
Chaco.
What? No! Who would I even use it on? Would that even work? She's already summoned. Would that even work? She's already summoned.
Audette. Audette.
It'll work. We can use it on Hold Steady because he's keeping the puzzle primed. The dart doesn't let you use it on yourself. You'll have to use it on Uzzy and then contain him with the cube.
Chaco.
Have you lost your faculties? You want me to kill Uzzy? It's not going to happen.
Audette.
You have to do it quickly.
Chaco.
I don't think you heard me, Audette. Mordecai has a plan. He is doing it of his own free will. It's an honorable death.
Audette.
If Mordecai dies, I go away.
Chaco.
I don't care.
Audette.
God damn it, Chaco. Do you think you'll survive 6 units on the next floor without me? You don't just show up in the Outreach Guild like you did on this floor. You have to find one.
Chaco.
Mordecai will kill me, and he'll leave the party anyway.
Audette.
I have you in my chat. If you do this, I promise I'll help you no matter what. Without me, you will die. All of you will die. Ozzy will be useless without his brother. I'll talk to Mordecai. I'll convince him this was the best path. Dodola is a sponsored god. She knows what's happening. Mordecai's plan isn't going to work. This is the only way.
Dodola roared. She'd paused, not getting any closer. Armida.
She wants to know if you're sure. She sounds angry.
Chaco.
Gods damn you, Audette.
Audette.
Do it now, Chaco.
This whole time, Ozzy and Mordecai were going back and forth in the group chat. The timer ticked down, slowly but inevitably plummeting towards 0. Audette knew if she actually told Ozzy what the plan was, he'd be on board. Skyfowl were like that, proud to a fault. But they didn't have time. Audette.
Mordecai! Abort! We have a plan that'll work! Get here now!
At the same moment, Chaco worshipped Dodola. He was the first in the party to worship a deity. She'd told them from the start how dumb it was to tie yourself to one.
All right, hold steady, and hold steady is also a bird.
Yes. And this might be not necessarily for this book. This might be a name you want to be able to recall too.
Gotcha.
FYI.
Gotcha.
What are you doing?
I just love the image of these redneck, like, vulture-type creatures. I don't think that... They don't look like vultures, right? Their heads aren't bald like that.
No, they're like
Eagles?
like eagles, and there's like different ones within their own culture too. And Mordecai's kind is one of the biggest ones, like big golden eagle sort of things.
Someone says, this is the best application of self-inflicted multiple personalities I've ever experienced live. Well, except for this one lady I dated in college. Bird person from Rick and Morty.
What are you doing?
That's what he would sound like.
What are you doing?
She heard Hold Steady cry.
I'm sorry, my friend,
Chaco said to Ozzy, who turned to regard the large bard. The skyfowl looked down at the dart in Chaco's wolf-like hand, surprised. The dart of Ophiutorus. The dart of Ophiutorus. Ozzy lifted his head to the raining sky and cawed. A war cry. He took a step closer to the puzzle and spread his wings in supplication. He understood. Chaco threw the dart right into Ozzy's breast. Behind them, Dodola roared in indignation and became unglued. She rushed forward, attempting to cast a spell. She vanished before she could.
Steady! Step back!
Chaco cried as he cast his level 15 Circle of Containment, locking the puzzle in with Ozzy, who'd fallen onto his back. His body pulsated and crackled.
No! No!
There we go.
Mordecai cried, rushing up. He was in the form of a ratkin brute, the first form he'd learned how to make. He stopped before the semicircle shell, falling to his knees. He placed his hands against the containment.
Ozzy! Ozzy!
Let's get some voice cracking in there.
Ozzy! Ozzy!
The skyfowl continued to convulse. Hold Steady cawed angrily as he concentrated on the puzzle, just on the other side of the containment. One could cast spells on the things inside of the shell, but not vice versa. Ozzy's chest ripped open as the involuntary summoning completed. Crawler Uzzy has fallen.
No!
Mordecai cried. 15 units before the collapse, the shell would end on its own.
Oop, okay, we got some typos here.
The shell would end on its own in 10.
Good catch. I'll fix it in there.
Okay. The shell would end on its own in 10. Dodola formed, hunched over in the shell, forced into the smaller size by the containment. The puzzle trapped with her, shattered. A round, glowing mote of light appeared. The key. It moved toward the stairwell portal, but it, too, was contained by the spell. Armida.
Odette, what did you do? She just messaged that she's going to kill the both of us, starting with me.
Dodola raged. She fired lightning, but it just pinged... She fired lightning, but it just pinged about within the circle, spinning and circling, getting faster and faster. It passed harmlessly through the key moat, which was also made of lightning.
Oh, Huan Xin, Odette muttered. You poor dumb fool. That wasn't very intelligent, was it?
Odette.
She can't kill you if she's not in the game anymore.
The dart worked much like the holy grenade. But with two differences. The holy grenade made it so no vessel was required to make the summoning happen. With the dart, they'd been forced to pick someone. There were no living mobs left on the floor. It had to be Uzzy.
Excuse me.
The second big difference was that the god's immunity wouldn't commence until 5 units after they fully formed. Dodola was immune to the lightning bolt itself, but not the area attack it inflicted at the end of its run.
Cover your eyes!
Odette called. The spinning level 20 lightning spell exploded within the shield. The light was that of a supernova. The god died. Not even sound escaped the containment. Just the light. A deity has fallen. The heavens tremble with rage. Behind her, Chaco gasped. A glowing laurel leaf appeared over his head. He'd jumped 10 levels. They'd given him credit for the kill. No. No. Mordecai continued to say, over and over.
All right, what did hold steady sound like? Steady? What are you doing? Got it.
What did you do? Hold Steady asked, looking at Chaco. You murdered Uzzy.
No!
Chaco said, looking at his claws. Wait. What? What is this? Mordecai said, looking up, confusion on his rat face. Did you use the dart? On my brother? The containment spell whiffed out. Dodola's dead form slumped over and then dissipated into ash. The key, unaffected by all of this, moved to the stairwell, opening it up. Armida.
I have 3 seasons left, Odette. She's here every year. Killing me would be nothing to her. You're getting out. You're getting out. But I'm not. What did you do?
Odette.
I'm sorry, friend. I'm sorry, friend.
You motherfucker! You motherfucker! I just love opportunities to say shit like that. Just simple things. You motherfucker.
Mordecai cried, crashing into Chaco. He tackled him, both of them tumbling into the stairwell. They both disappeared. Hold Steady called out and flew after them both, also disappearing, leaving Odette alone. Silence followed. Chaco would be fine. With the God Killer achievement, He'd be able to make a good deal. She'd lied to him. The outreach guilds were always right there on the 11th level. He'd generate right inside the guild. It would be just like the 10th floor. He wouldn't have to ever see Mordecai again.
I made it,
she thought, as the level started to collapse.
I'm free of this nightmare. Finally, free.
Mordecai, I'm going to kill you, Odette. I'm going to get free of this place. I'm going to find where you are. And I am going to kill you.
Boom. That's the prologue. Where are we at? We're at 591 still.
Yeah, bitches.
Yeah, bitches. All right. And here goes. We are time to go to Havana. So I hope you guys are having a good time. Still, this is easily the biggest audience I've ever streamed in front of, so thank you all for making this happen. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the enthusiasm with which you desired my ass to have a needle continually pumped into it. So glad to know I'm cherished around here. And yeah, I hope you guys stick around and come to other cold reads. I haven't decided yet. I think usually I do the first 30% of whatever book I'm working on for these cold reads. So actually that's probably what I'm going to do, and then the rest of the streaming is going to go over to our Discord channel, because it's just that way I'm like not having to stream the whole thing and think about the live audience, and I can like focus more and get more done per day. But the first 30%, I hope you guys come back, because I mean, for this book, the size this is, 30%, that's shit, man. That's like 8 hours. It's like 8 hours of audio. Right? So you guys will be able to come through for like 5-6 different cold reads at that point. So yeah, definitely make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you get notifications when we get new ones. And there's going to be a stretch goal. We're going to talk about it after at the end of this stream, but there will be a viewership stretch goal. Maybe you guys will be able to reach it. So anything else you want to add before we move on to Havana, Mr. Dinniman?
No, I think you did a good job with the prologue. We're finally going to get into some Carl and Donut talking action now.
Yes. Carl is maybe, I don't know, he could be my favorite character to voice. Not least of which, just because I love doing the Patrick Warburton voice. And also, like, the Patrick Warburton voice has evolved over time to, like, become its own thing. Now it's just Carl.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like I don't hear that much resemblance anymore. It just kind of evolved from the beginning, and I'm actually really excited to revisit book 1 with this like newly developed voice that I've been working on over all of these books, because then like I don't know, it's just nice to be able to go back and do a thing better.
Yeah. Now you have to do Mordecai's voice in this first chapter, and I don't know if you just.
Yes, I remember.
There's a lot of Mordecai talking in this book, so just remember that when you pick.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I remember doing it when we were doing it live.
Yeah, we did a Dragon Con.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be doing this again. We have that Iowa Con coming up that we're going to, whatever that's called, and I'll have people. I think
Planet
I'll have
Funk
you read,
Con.
Planet Funk Con. I think I'm going to have you read from book 7, which is going to be starting on my Patreon. I'm going to try to finish it today. I don't know if I'm going to or not, but I'm going to start posting that pretty soon.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. Well, I will definitely have narrated this whole thing by the time Planet Funk Con rolls around, because that's in August, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's in August. So our plan is to have this submitted, this book 6, submitted to Audible by the end of July, and it will be on pre-order for about a month.
Okay.
So we have lots of goals with this one, guys. We want, I definitely want book 6 to hit #1 overall in all of Audible. And I think you guys can make it happen, especially if we put it on pre-order for a little bit, because this series.
If you can have it come out, when Dragon Con is going on, that would be pretty amazing. But
right, so if we submit it at the end of July and we set the pre-order, I guess Dragon Con is the end of August, right?
It's August 31st through the 4th of September.
I think we can set the release date for August 31st. That'd be wait. When is our
Friday's the 1st, so
Friday's the 1st.
So Thursday, it starts on Thursday, which is August 31st, but it really starts on Friday the 1st.
Okay, so maybe we can
September
do Friday the 1st. That way, that'd be a cool thing to coordinate with the release, is us being at Dragon Con. Then again, that makes me feel like when I'm at Dragon Con, I'm just gonna be staring at my phone watching the rankings. All right.
Hey, gents, I just wanted to come in. I accidentally banned somebody named Pierre Allen. I am so sorry. It was just a misclick. It had nothing to do with anything you said or otherwise. I'm scrambling to figure it out, but I thought I'd just announce it here so that way that person doesn't feel like they were excluded. It was a total. I was right clicking. It was really fast. I'm so sorry.
So
sorry. Trying to work it out now.
Who was it?
Pierre Allen was the name.
Pierre Allen.
The scroll is so fast. I can't even
I apologize on our producer Ahmed Mahmoud's
Yes, this is my fault. I will also No, I won't get a tattoo. Forget about it.
Get a portrait of Pierre Allen's face, like right here.
I was gonna say you have to get a tattoo of Pierre's choice.
Tear.
Yeah, like I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just wanted to say that, and I'm back out. Bye.
All right. Here goes. I'm so excited to get back into Carl mode. Like, it's a new. I've now narrated 5 whole books with this voice. I'm now so comfortable with it, and it's like putting on an awesome worn pair of boots, even though Carl doesn't wear boots. So yeah, just
somebody just asked in the chat, any idea when Patreons can expect a Faction Wars preview? Gonna try to finish the first chapter today. There's a small prologue plus a chapter. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it tonight or not. I'm gonna be stuck at a car dealership all afternoon, but it's gonna be soon. I'm flying to Spain in a couple days, and it's definitely gonna be before that. So
that reminds me, whenever you have to go, just chime in. Don't worry about interrupting me or whatever. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
All right. Because I think this I can run for another. Like, I'll probably be going till like 3 Central, so you're probably gonna want to leave before that. That'll be 1 your time.
Yeah, I'll stick around until I get bored. Until you bore me.
All right.
Part 1. Havana. Chapter 1. Welcome, crawler, to the 8th floor. The ghosts of Earth. Time to level collapse, 21 days. Views, 13 septillion. Followers, 331 quadrillion. Favorites, 41 quadrillion. Leaderboard rank, 3. Bounty, 2 million gold. Congrats, crawler. You have received a platinum venison box. Yeah, it's still the vanilla AI here. Box. Remaining crawlers, 38,532. It is December 10th. Your squad has 6 open slots. Entering El Capitolio Nacional de Cuba.
Oof. Okay, so Sin, who is probably in the audience right now. Oh no, she's not. She's not proofing. Bill is going to be proofing this one. Okay, Bill, are you in the audience? If Bill's in the audience, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say tag all Spanish.
Entering El Cap.
Proofer. Please tag all Spanish. There we go. Bill? Bill, are you there? All right. This way, we'll just make sure every single one. I want to get them all right. Here's the cool thing: Carl doesn't speak Spanish, does he?
No.
So during narration, I can fuck it up.
That 2 million bounty is absolutely correct. By the way, someone asked. I have a chart that I had to go over multiple times. So it depends on what.
What is the bounty for rank 1?
It's 1 million. I have. In fact, I just have it. It's 1 million, but it goes up by 1 million each floor. That's the wrong. I have an Excel sheet that has like 700 and something different pages on it now, and I have to find it. But it's right. Trust me.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, it is Cuba. It is Cuba. Cuba. That's the correct pronunciation. I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
So while Jeff is gone, we need to find another place to get him tattooed, or a bigger tattoo, or maybe a Samantha tattoo on his. Okay, never mind. Yeah, Samantha tattoo on his neck, I think.
What was that?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Just talking shit while I'm gone. I get it.
Donut and I stepped through the door of the globe chamber into the rotunda of a large, empty room made of marble and tile.
I think I can start that off a little slower.
Donut and I stepped through the door of the globe chamber into the rotunda of a large, empty room made of marble and tile. I was instantly reminded of the U.S. Capitol building, which I'd visited once long ago. Blue and magenta floor tiles spread in both directions. Enormous arched windows dotted the walls at regular intervals. The curved, half-pipe ceiling was also tiled with bronze squares in relief. In the center was a round divot leading to an enormous cupola.
Cupola. What is a cupola? A small dome, especially a small dome.
I don't think I've ever said that word out loud. My head has like this cupola.
Cupola.
Cupola. Small dome, especially a
I
small
don't think
dome.
I've ever said that word out loud.
No. There we go. I need to mute this one. There we go. Cupola.
In the center was a round... In the center was a round divot leading to an enormous cupola. It was pitch black outside, and the room was lit by what looked like street lamps placed at intervals, giving the room a warm, yellow light. This wasn't the U.S. Capitol building. It was similar in architecture, but not quite. This was El Capitol.
El Capital?
This was El Capital, the historic Capitol building in downtown Havana. Cuba. We were the only ones here.
Listen,
Donut was saying as we explored the empty hall. Her voice echoed.
as the party leader and Dungeon's #1 crawler, I just felt that throwing ourselves right into the Bahamas was a bad idea, so I picked someplace close. Do you really think it was a coincidence they gave you a book about the Bahamas when that's where Miss Beatrice was? It was quite obviously a trap. Hey, I went down to #2. Carl, I lost my top spot.
Let's see here.
Bahamas when that's where Miss Beatrice was. It was quite obviously a trap. Hey,
Let's try that again.
Hey! I went down to number 2. Carl, I lost my top spot.
I'm not surprised, I said. I said, taking another step into the large room. I focused on the windows. My map showed nothing outside. I focused on one of the brass lamps and the red and green ribbon hanging from it. It was a Christmas decoration. It was a Christmas decoration. Did you see that notification when we got here? It said it was December 10th.
Carl, I need to pick a new class. Carl, I need to pick a new class. Hey, I have more time to pick now. Hey, I have more time to pick now. I now have 10 minutes to choose.
Good. Carl. Mordecai, you there? Donut needs help with her new class. Mordecai. Holy shit. I'm here. It just blinked, and now we've skipped a floor. I heard what the announcement said. By his left tit. What did you guys do? Carl. I had nothing to do with it. That was all prepotente. Talk to Donut. She picked something on her own last floor, but she only had it for a minute. Donut.
Viper Queen was a great class, and I'll have you know I kept my ability to spit poison even though I never used it. I don't know why everybody always gets grumpy when I make my own decisions. I don't know why everyone always gets grumpy when I make my own decisions. Carl is always making decisions without asking me. I still have all my bard abilities too, though I forgot a couple songs.
Mordecai. Donut, hit me with your choices.
Sounds about right for Mordecai this time.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Pretty funny. Poor Mordecai.
The occasional echo. 1 second. That's off. The occasional echo is so it's the thought track, I think. Like when I play stuff back, I always put like chat or like telepathic stuff into what I call the thought track, which has a little bit of reverb and a little bit of delay. You guys don't know his form now, but I know his form now because, first of all, Matt told me a while back, but also I've already read the part where he's revealed, so.
Voices. Donut jumped to my shoulder as I explored. As they went back and forth, I continued to examine the room.
Excuse me.
There were multiple doors, but they were all locked. At the end of the hall was a door, and there was a level stairwell behind it. I walked to the door and tried to open it. You need a key to open this door. Damn it. I moved to one of the tall windows and put my hand against it. This area has not yet been unlocked. I put my face against the glass to look outside, but I couldn't see anything. It was just swirling black smoke. Imani.
Everybody check in. Where are you? We picked Western United States, and it looks like we're in some We picked Western United States, and it looks like we're in some indoor water park in the middle of nowhere. Some place called the Great Wolf Lodge. We can't go outside yet. Ellie and I have been placed in different squads, and they made us pick the starting location separately. But we both picked the same place.
Katya.
We're in Iceland. We can't go out either. There's a stairwell here, but we need a key.
Carl. Same. We're in Cuba. Havana. Ellie.
Cuba? Prepotente picked Cuba? Why would he do that?
Carl. He dumped us before this level started. I don't know where he is. He never answers my chats, but I suspect he might be in the Bahamas. Ellie.
So, Donut picked Cuba? Or was that you? Are you looking for cigars or something?
Lena.
We are in the Galaxy Soho building in Beijing. There are hundreds of crawlers here with us.
Imani.
Is Chris still in your party? He never went back to mine.
Lena.
He is with us.
Katya.
Florin? Florin, where are you?
Imani.
I thought Florin was in your party.
Katya.
He left just before Carl and Prepotente broke the last level.
Ellie.
Yeah, that was really fucked up, Carl. You need to warn us next time. I don't know if skipping levels is good for our health. Not all of us are as trained up as you.
Carl. I love how you guys just assume I had something to do with it. That was 100% Pony. I had no idea that was going to happen. Florin. I'm in Ecuador. I continued to explore the floor, but there didn't appear to be a way out.
Let me try that Florin again. I'm in Ecuador.
I am in Ecuador.
There we go. That's a little better. My Australian's not great, guys. Just gonna let you know.
Way out. Donut.
I am absolutely not picking something called an agony urchin, Mordecai. That sounds disgusting. It changes the way I look, and I will never pick a class that changes the way I look. I have an important image to maintain.
Mordecai. It's a great class. It's either that or Master Telephone Psychic. That one is pretty good, too, especially with your charisma, but you didn't do so well with psionic attacks on the previous floor. Donut.
That song was very hard to sing.
Mordecai. Well, those are your two best choices by far. Urchin will help keep you safe, and Psychic will make your mapping ability better and give you some offensive charm spells.
Offensive.
Urchin will help keep you safe, and Psychic will make your mapping ability better and give you some offensive charm spells. Donut.
I'm picking Psychic.
Donut glowed. Donut.
Hey! I got everything listed and a few additional spells. This is great. Hey! I got everything listed.
Mordecai. Your character actor skill is powerful now. What spells did you get? Donut.
So, I still have the Venom Spitter skill from the last floor, but it's only level 3. My map can see a lot bigger and more stuff. I can see the whole building. It's almost like we already have the map from a neighborhood boss, but I don't see any mobs at all. It's even better than that Pathfinder skill. I got a spell called Brain Freeze, and one called Bad Attitude, and another called Why Are You Hitting Yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? That one is great. It makes people stab themselves in the face. My intelligence went up 5 points too.
I relaxed. That was pretty good. I relaxed. That was pretty good. I relaxed. That was pretty good. Mordecai. Bad Attitude is similar to Carl's Fear spell, but it'll be a lot more potent in your hands. If you work it together, it'll be a great combo. Fear tends to affect dexterity, while Bad Attitude drains intelligence and lowers resistances. Brain Freeze does the same thing, but it targets only one mob and drains health. It also makes them temporarily blind if you can get it up to 10. Donut.
It started at level 8.
Mordecai. Good. You'll want to train that one. Carl. Can you see anything? We're locked in a large room. Mordecai. Nope. I tried to open the door, but it says exit isn't yet available. Wait for the level announcement. We didn't have to wait long. A new timer appeared in my vision.
Time until Phase 2, 14 days.
It started to count down. Cascadia started the announcement. I immediately noted she wasn't nearly as chipper as she usually was. She pushed her way through the announcement with the enthusiasm of a kid being forced to mow their own lawn.
Hello, crawlers. Welcome to the 8th floor, the Ghosts of Earth. This is going to be a long message. This floor is simple, but the environment requires a small amount of explanation. Not that you twits are going to understand either way. You have all picked one of 293 different regions. We have just over 38,000 crawlers joining us, and of the groups, you are occupying 205 of the regions. Unlike the bubbles of the 5th floor...
How dare you, whoever's texting me or messaging me or whatever the hell that was. Ah! Hello, Mr. James. I got your phone number from a friend. I heard that you are selling your house. Is it still there?
Text back.
What's that?
Text back.
I will. Okay. I will.
Yes, I am.
It's on WhatsApp as well, so it's definitely like total. And they have a hot chick for the profile picture. I guess.
Oh yeah.
I heard that you were selling your house. Is it still there? I am selling it. But let's see. What happened to the house, guys? But it was hit by a tornado while it was on fire last week. The basement is still there.
And the GIMP room.
And the GIMP room. All the leather straps and masks are still intact. Never washed them either. So there's still flavor left.
I don't know how you type with the swipey type. I can't do that.
I honestly, I hate all typing on phones. Oh, I said hit by a tornado. There we go. Boom. Proof. Let's see. It's gonna be hard to read. Yeah.
I believe you.
All right. Unlike the bubbles of the 5th floor, Unlike the bubbles of the 5th floor, you are not distributed. Unlike the bubbles of the 5th floor, you are not distributed evenly. But just because you don't see anybody else, it doesn't mean you're alone. Each region contains 2 stairwells, and you have been generated near one of the 2. The theme of this floor is broken up into 3 parts. Phase 2 starts in 14 Earth days. You will not be able to obtain an exit key until then. Thank the gods. An exit key until then. Thank the gods. For the next 2 weeks, you will be stuck within your starting area. All crawlers have been placed in squads of no more than 5. If your party is 6 or more, the party members have been split into equal number squads of less than 5. These squads are not able to be broken. If you leave your party, you will not leave the squad. You have to work together to survive. You'll notice your squad has 6 more spots than the number of crawlers, so if you're by yourself, it'll have 7 spots total, and if your squad consists of 5 crawlers, it'll have 11 spots total. Your job for the next 14 days is to fill your squad. You will be required to fill your squad before you will be allowed to proceed to Phase 2. If you do not fill your squad before the timer runs out, it will be filled randomly. Trust me, you don't want that. We'll get to that in a moment. In 14 days, you will be given at least 2 options on where to send your squad for the second phase. It will be a different geographic location than where you've started. You, along with your full squad, will be required to fight your way to an exit key. This will not be easy, so it is in your best interest to make certain your squad is as powerful as you can handle. More details on the assault phase of this floor will be forthcoming. This is how Phase 1 works. All of you are inside a large structure within your starting area. As soon as this message ends, the doors will open and you will be allowed to proceed outside. Each region is limited, but you will have plenty of area to investigate. In most cases, you will be allowed to explore in a circle of about 99 kilometers from your starting location in any direction. If this causes an overlap with another region, this distance will be shortened. If you are on an island, you will not be able to venture more than 6 kilometers offshore. You will not be able to enter any other regions during Phase 1. Your starting area is an exact replica of Earth's surface area as captured on the indicated date. This includes all the geographic features, buildings, vehicles, and yes, the people. That's correct. You will be fighting and exploring in a precise facsimile of Earth in the weeks before the collapse. There are a few important caveats. You're living inside of a memory. In most cases, you will not be able to interact with mobile biological entities within the replay. They will not appear on your map. Think of them like intangible ghosts. They can't see you, and if you touch them, you will go right through them. They will be going about their lives just as they did on the day of the recording. However, and this is very important, so pay attention, all non-biological, non-attached items will be tangibly present and will maintain their mass and momentum until physically interacted with by a crawler or a mob or an unexpected environmental factor. You can enter buildings. You can use non-automatic doors in most cases. You can break windows. You can get hit and killed by a vehicle. You can get hit and killed by a vehicle. You can go to a grocery store and take all the onions. You can allow a person to walk through you, which will likely rip the clothes from their bodies. The visible portions of their bodies will continue on their way. The people and animals are ghosts. Everything else is not. Complex machines may or may not work depending on what they are. You can pick an onion or piece of tofu. You can pick an onion or a piece of tofu out of a ghost's hand and throw it at a mob. The ghost will continue to eat, but the onion will now be on the ground. You can place a barrier in a street and a car will crash into it, but the ghostly avatars of the drivers will continue on their way, floating toward their destination as if the accident never happened. Onions and tofu? Donut asked. Is that what she thinks we eat? Donut asked. Donut asked. Is that what she thinks we eat? Is that what she thinks we eat?
I waved for her to be quiet. My mind was swirling with the possibilities.
In other words, you can destroy the environment as much as you like. You can move mountains if you have the power. The physical items will only move as they did on that date if they are in the exact place and condition they were at the time of recording. The world is your literal playground. Note, anything you loot on this level that comes from the Earth memory will turn to dust upon the collapse of this level. You will not be arming yourselves with the content of your local military base for use on the 9th floor.
I groaned. That was exactly what I'd been thinking.
That's the environment. Now, let us get to the squads. Your area is seeded with mobs and bosses and legendary creatures that are exclusive to the folklore of the region in which you inhabit. For example, those of you in Romania will be dealing with vampires and werewolves. Those of you in Ireland will have leprechauns and banshees. Those of you in Japan are just plain fucked. The further out from your starting area, the more difficult the monsters and bosses you will face. These monsters will also be interacting with the environment, so it's likely their locations will be obvious, especially if the mobs are unintelligent, as they will be attempting to attack the non-corporeal locals. At the end of this message, your squad leader will receive a set of 20 flags containing your squad's logo, which has been automatically created by the system. If you plant the flag within the body of a living entity while they are at less than 5% health, they will be transformed into something called a Tagi code. Okay, Tagi? Can't remember. Whew.
Tagi is correct.
All right. They will be If you plant the flag within the body of a living entity while they are at less than 5% health, they will be transformed into something called a Tagi totem, which will be added to the squad leader's inventory.
My breath caught in my throat. I tried not to outwardly react. I knew exactly what that was, thanks to the cookbook.
If it is a non-corporeal monster, the flags will still work. Flagged monsters will automatically join your squad and will automatically be minions of whomever summons them. They will follow the summoner's orders. That is, they will follow orders to a certain extent, depending on the level difference and nature of the monster. While you need a squad that's as powerful as possible, it might not be in your best interests to build a team that's a little too strong. You may dismiss mob squad members if they don't work out by ripping the Tagi totem. I keep wanting to say Tagi totem. You may dismiss mob squad members if they don't. You may dismiss mob squad members if they don't work out by ripping the Tagi totem. You may dismiss mob squad members if they don't work out by ripping the Tagi totem in two. If you run out of or lose your 20 flags before your squad is filled, they will not be replaced, so be careful with them. You may collect more totems than squad spaces. You may trade totems with fellow crawlers. You may steal totems from fellow crawlers. Upon the start of... Let's try that one more time. You may trade totems with fellow crawlers. You may steal totems from fellow crawlers. You may trade totems with fellow crawlers. You may steal totems from fellow crawlers. Upon the start of Phase 2, all non-placed totems will dissipate. All surviving squads may choose a single Tagi card to keep upon the collapse of this floor. All surviving squads may choose a single Tagi card to keep upon the collapse of this floor. That's it for now. More details on Phase 2 and Phase 3 will become available in a few days. Furthermore, fighting with Tagi totems comes with a few additional rules, which will be explained after the next recap episode. I'm supposed to explain that part now, but honestly, you monkeys think you're so smart and clever, I'm certain you can figure it out on your own. Now get out there and kill, you know.
I took a deep breath. I had so many questions about how this worked, especially the environment. Mordecai, do either of you chuckleheads know anything about Cuban mythology? Or have someone in your chat who does? Donut.
I know they have flat sandwiches here, and this... I fucking love Cubano sandwiches, by the way. And isn't this where that guy from I Love Lucy was from? And isn't this where that guy from I Love Lucy was from? Oh, and that Trey guy from Boys in the Hood is from here too, I think. And that Trey guy from Boys in the Hood is from here too, I think.
I was about to bitch again about Donut choosing Cuba, but there was nothing we could do about it now. The usefulness of the Book of Lore was
So they replied about the fire. There was a fire last week? You didn't mention it in our last conversation. Are you James?
Don't worry, the GIF is okay.
Still sweaty even. Don't worry, the GIMP stuff is all fine. Still sweaty even.
The usefulness of the Book of Lore. The usefulness of the Book of Lore was painfully obvious. The usefulness of the Book of Lore was painfully obvious. I understood Donut's logic, but she'd been wrong. If we were starting this on December 10th, that meant we'd be moving away from this location on the 24th. Bee and her friends had flown there on the 26th, which meant there was no chance we'd have seen their ghosts if we'd chosen the Bahamas as our Phase 1 location. But now, because we were going to be moving to a second location for Phase 2, they'd have plenty of time to engineer a scene where Donut and I were forced to watch Bee get railed by some other dude. I had no doubts that they'd...
Oh, shit.
I had no doubts.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I rechecked the number. I think I dialed the wrong number. No, wait. $3,000 for all of it. And I'll throw in the whip.
And 20 minutes with Randy.
And 20 minutes with Randy.
But put Randy in quotes.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
I had no doubt.
Randy in quotes. They're about to respond. Okay.
I had no doubts. I had no doubts that they'd be angling to get us over there for Phase 2. They couldn't physically use B, but this was still a way to fuck with us. They were likely going to try this with multiple squads, sending us all to places where we could watch loved ones like we were in a fucked up version of A Christmas Carol. They were likely going to try this with multiple squads, sending us all to places where we could watch loved...
Let's try that one more time. I got a little hitch in the throat there. The quotes make it so much better. Thank you for that.
They were likely going to try this with multiple squads, sending us all to places where we could watch loved ones like we were in a fucked up version of A Christmas Carol. That was something I'd have to worry about in a few weeks. For now, we needed to focus on squad building.
Carl, did you understand anything that lady was talking about?
I think so. Do you remember when I used to play that Pokemon game on the Nintendo? I think it might be a little like that. Carl. Mordecai, do you know what a Tagi totem is? I wanted to hear what he had to say about this. I already knew quite a bit because of Alistair, who had written the 13th edition of the cookbook. For him, Tagi was a religion, and it had nothing to do with capturing and summoning monsters. But I could already see how this was going to work. Mordecai. I do. They're similar to Batista's stuffed animals, but they're in the form of large playing cards. They're kind of like your tarot cards, actually. They're reusable, even if the summoned monsters die. I've seen them used in a few different ways over the seasons, so we'll have to wait until the next announcement.
Make sure to get rare candy, someone said.
Carl, I just talked to Prepotente, and he is in the Bahamas. He wants you to read the law book to him. He wants you to read the law book to him. Bahamas. He wants you to read the law book to him.
I'm shocked, I said dryly.
He says there's probably some crossover with Cuba, so the book won't be completely useless to us.
The entire room, The entire room blinked, and a new door appeared where there'd been none before. New light filtered through the windows. The new door was an entrance to our personal space. Tell him
No, damn it. I think I scared him away. They were about to respond and never did.
Tell him I'll read him whatever he wants. Tell him I'll read him whatever he wants in exchange for half of those size-up potions he has. He can sell them to us using the store interface, or he can join the guild and do it face-to-face. Come on, Donut, I said, heading toward the door to the safe room. Heading toward the door to the safe room. I said, heading toward the door to the safe room.
And that's a chapter. Woo! It's getting hot in here, guys. Just thinking about gimps and whips and quote-unquote Randy. Got me hot in here.
Well, now I have to have a GIMP dungeon in a future book.
All right. I feel like I want to read this whole chat after the stream. I'm missing so much. You guys are so lively and active in there. All right, so on to chapter 2. Where are we at? What time is it? We're at 1:51. Cool. By the way, guys, don't forget, I am reading this book. You guys haven't read it yet, most of you, if you don't have the paperback version or if you're not Patreon patrons. So, if you don't want to get too spoiled, we're on to chapter 2. Not too bad so far, but, tomorrow I'm doing a stream, the day after I'm doing a stream, the day after that I'm doing a stream. So, as you go along, you're going to get more and more spoilers. However, we do have a stretch goal to talk about at the end of this stream. So there's going to be some trade-off here. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with us, if you want to always be notified when we're going live. And, if you want to nom on something a little bit while you're waiting for the Dungeon Crawler Carl 6 audiobook to come out, if you're not buying the Kindle/paperback edition to read on your own, there's also Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, our full cinematic audio version. That's all available on our platform at soundbooktheater.com. And the first episode is free. Full cast, sound effects, and music. And that will give you an idea of what the audio immersion tunnel reboot of Dungeon Crawler Carl 1 is going to be like. That's coming out. The first episode is coming out at the same time as the Dungeon Crawler Carl 6 audiobook, and that will be exclusive to soundbooktheater.com, so watch out. All right, chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Oh, man, I said to Mordecai as we entered the safe room. He sat at the counter with Bomo, the sole remaining member of our 4 bodyguards. The sole remaining member of our 4 bodyguards. He sat at the counter with Bomo, the sole remaining member of our 4 bodyguards. The other 3 cretins, he's American, the other 3 cretins had gone down with the High Elf Castle to the 9th floor. Mordecai had been a tiny, cute creature the previous floor, something called a pocket kuma. He was now the same size as the rock bodyguard. He was large, pink, bald, and he had a single, blinking eye in the center of his cone-shaped head.
A cyclops?
Donut asked, looking him up and down.
You turned into a cyclops? And why are you so chunky? You look like a knockoff version of that starfish guy from that Krusty Krab cartoon, but with only one eye. Great. Now I'm going to get the theme song stuck in my head. Do you have any depth perception?
Excuse me. Not really, he said. Try that again. A little more disappointed.
The perception.
Not really, he said, standing to his full height. He even sounded like Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants when he talked, which made him come across as stupid. He was just as tall as he'd been when he was an incubus, but like Donut said, he now had a wide belly, stretching his white shirt to its limits. His skin was a bright pink, and his bald, cone-shaped, furrowed forehead glinted dully in the light. His single, brown eye was the size of an ostrich egg. A caterpillar-like eyebrow stretched across his head. His fingers looked like wrinkly sausages. I'd only seen one other Cyclops creature before, and that had been a bartender somewhere. Mordecai was a different kind. I examined him.
Hey, crazy AI is back in business. Let me get some water before I start him up.
Neck tattoos.
Mordecai! Hills Cyclops, level 50. Manager of Princess Donut. This is a non-combatant NPC. Of all the Cyclops-style monsters populating the dungeon, the Hills Cyclops are both the weakest and the dumbest of the lot. These shambling pinheads tend to spend their days working as shepherds, herding their sheep and goats. They're always disheveled because they can't see their own reflections in mirrors. At night, they can be found at the local drinking establishments, getting into fistfights and drinking contests with their imbecile friends. They're mostly harmless as long as you don't mess with their flock and or their girlfriends. I was going to add a joke about those two being the same thing, but I'm trying to be more mature. Just kidding. These dudes definitely fuck their sheep.
It's better than the form I'd taken for the 10 minutes the 7th floor was open. I was a slime. I had no goddamned arms. Oh, shit. I didn't know they could do that to you. He grunted.
I'll just do it.
I was a Kuateen once, and I had to spin the floor in a glass pitcher. Another time I was a screech ghast, and I kept teleporting away against my will.
Screech or screech?
Screech is fine.
Hey! Hey!
Donut shouted from across the room. She'd jumped to the top of the mailbox that sat in the corner.
There's only one spell book in here. I didn't get my book of the floor delivery from the 7th floor.
Nope. You snooze, you lose.
This is an outrage. Carl, you need to send a message to your lawyer this instant.
What did you get? I asked as I sat down at the table. Holy cow, was I tired. I needed to go into my room and reset my exhaustion level, which would only take a minute thanks to the Instacart 60 bed. Which would only...
I'm a little phlegmy today, guys. Just gotta get through it. Someone said, ooh, I can't believe I made it. I legit finished book 5 20 minutes ago.
I needed to go into my room and reset my exhaustion level, which would only take a minute thanks to the Instacart 60 bed upgrade from the guild.
It's a spell book for something called mute. That sounds boring.
Good, Mordecai said. That's on our list. You can stop monsters from casting spells. Learn it and practice it. Didn't you get another random spell book at the prize counter?
I did, but it's in a box I haven't opened yet.
She glowed as she read the new spell book. She glowed as she read the new spell book. Donut let Mongo out of his box, and he screeched, running about the room. He looked out the door into the main guild hall area. He screeched again.
Mongo, who are you looking for? Mommy is right here.
Mongo made a sad little squawk.
Okay, so I didn't bring my chair in here, but I think I could. I think I could do it. Let's try this here. Carl! Damn it. My knee stopped me. Ah, shit.
Carl! What has taken you so long? We need to go back out there and find a pulp man, sir.
Let's see if that worked. Oh, shit. Broke my headphones. Oh, they're not broken. Entirely. Ah, shit. Come on now. This is what I get for spinning in circles in my booth. There we go.
Carl! What has taken you so long? We need to go back out there and find a pulp man, sir.
It didn't work. You could barely hear the rotation. At least you can still hear it though.
We all know in our hearts that it's there.
Yeah. Everyone knows. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? A voice called, rolling in from the training room. Let's get this shit out of here.
Carl!
A voice called, rolling in from the training room.
What has taken you so long? We need to go back out there and find a pulp man, sir.
Samantha?
Sir.
Samantha? You took off. I didn't know where you went. The last time I'd seen her, she'd blown up. The last time I'd seen her, she'd been blown up and burned to hell multiple times. She appeared to have gone back to normal. Her hair had returned, and her scorched latex skin appeared clean and shiny. She came back to the safe room. Mordecai said. She flew here, pushed her way through the brambles to get to the door. Mordecai, we need to have a talk about her. Something is obviously happening. Carl. Yeah, no shit. You said she'd never be able to do any of this stuff. Mordecai. I don't understand it. What makes it... I don't understand it, which makes it I don't understand it, which makes it extra dangerous. Withering spirits shouldn't be able to do this. She won't shut up about that flesh golem you have in your inventory. Don't give it to her until we figure out why and how she's gaining this power. Don't give it to her until we figure out why and how she's gaining this power.
My cousin gave you her mother, and we need to find a maid to animate her. I need my body back. Come on, let's go right now, Carl.
Samantha, we just landed on a new floor. Don't worry, we'll figure something out. Let's get our bearings first.
I'm going to kill your mother.
And I'm not going to help you if you keep threatening me.
I'm going to kill your mother.
And I'm not going to help you if you keep threatening me.
That's a little too serious.
I'm going to kill your mother.
And I'm not going to help you if you keep threatening me. She started growling. She rolled off to chase Mongo. Threatening me. She started growling. She rolled off to chase.
Where'd it go? There it is.
Ellie.
Holy shitballs, guys! Have you opened your boxes and achievements yet?
Donut.
Not yet! They didn't give me my spellbook of the floor prize, and I'm quite upset about it!
Ellie.
That's some bullshit right there. You should make Carl's lawyers sue them over it.
Donut.
I know, right? Do you think anything is going to happen to Prepotente?
Donut asked. Donut asked, as she watched Mongo rush after the doll head.
They got mad at Carl for having the gate of the... They got mad at Carl for having the gate of the feral gods because they thought he might break a level. They got mad at Carl for having the gate of the feral gods because they thought he might break a level, but Prepotente actually did break one.
I think he'll be okay, Mordecai said. I was just talking to Mistress Tiatha, and she filled me in on what that crazy goat did. This one is on the engineers. They fashioned that level so it was just like the fairy tale. The kid in the story did the exact same thing the goat did, but it took him thousands of years to figure it out. They should never have built it that way. This isn't the first time a level was doomed from the start. I think I told you about the bacterial infection incident from the previous Borange season. There was another one where the crawlers had to hand-build bridges, but the provided materials made it impossible, and the council had to step in. This was the first time that it failed so quickly, I think. The Valtae are likely irritated with the Borant engineers who designed the level, but it sounds like there's plenty of blame to go around. The Apothecary and the Plenty are probably on their shit list for providing the means. Not that the showrunners can do anything about that. Not that the showrunners can do anything about that. The whole thing was a political maneuver to make a lot of money for those two sponsors, all at the cost of the Valtae and the Syndicate as a whole. It's all a game to them, and it's nothing new. What do you mean? I thought the Apothecary and the Plenty were losing ungodly amounts on benefactor benefits. I'm not even going to pretend to understand most of it, but the sheer amount of money the Syndicate pays just to use the tunnel system to live stream all of this is enormous, and paid in advance. If an entire floor is skipped, it's not refunded. Plus, he trailed off. He looked back and forth between me and Donut. He was looking up at the spinning star over Donut's head. You did it? He asked. Oh, yeah, I said, grinning sheepishly. Oh, yeah, I said. I said, grinning sheepishly. He'd known that we were talking to my attorney, and he'd known what we were planning. But everything had happened so fast at the end of the last floor, we hadn't had the chance to tell him it had worked. And this was the first time we were able to talk about it out loud.
We kick-started a war!
Donut announced. Donut announced. Donut announced.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Who's your warlord adjutant?
Adjutant?
Adjutant, that's correct.
All right.
Get used to that word.
Wow. It's hot in here, guys.
Who's your warlord adjutant? Have they assigned him or her yet? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. He grunted and shook his head. By his left tit. You two. You know what? We'll talk about it later. Open your damn boxes. During the butcher's masquerade, I'd stood upon Prepotente's personal space cube for a minute and opened a few boxes, but I deliberately not checked my achievements, which would have added several boxes to the pile, and I wouldn't have had time to open them all. We hadn't been in an actual safe room since before the party. I had literally dozens of achievements in boxes, including a legendary boss box and 2 different quest boxes for the Vengeance of the Daughter and the Recital quest. The vast majority of the achievements were for stupid things, like riding in an elven carriage and using a Goodwill bathroom. Like riding in an elven carriage and using a Goodwill ballroom. The notable ones were...
New achievement! Oh shit! A country boss! You ever have one of those jobs where there's a big boss somewhere in the building, but you've never actually seen them? There's rumors that he's a complete douche with an epic temper, but you're so far down the totem pole, the very idea of having anything to do with the guy is just ridiculous. People speak about him with frightened whispers, and it's almost like he's some People speak about him with frightened whispers, and it's almost like he's some invisible, terrifying urban legend. Then, BAM! One day you're coming out of the bathroom, wrestling with a stuck zipper, and he's right there, looking at you like you should be ashamed of yourself just for... One day you're coming out of the bathroom, wrestling with a stuck zipper, and he's right there, looking at you like you should be ashamed of yourself just for existing. How dare you throw yourself in his line of sight, you worthless piece of shit! That's the position you're in right now. Second only to the infamous floor boss, which doesn't show up until the 10th floor. This is the biggest, baddest bitch one can come across in Dungeon Crawler World. Reward? You know how this goes, you worthless piece of shit. You know how this goes, you worthless piece of shit.
I'd received that one when Imogen had suddenly appeared in the convoy to the castle.
Excuse me.
I'd received that one when Imogen had suddenly appeared in the convoy to the castle.
New achievement! The Scourge. The Butcher's Masquerade has started. You have collected the most hands. You have caused more mothers to cry, more children to hate than any other crawler before you. You are the champion murderer supreme. You are number 1. If only your own mother wasn't already dead so she could see you now. Reward? You have received a legendary Hunter Champion box.
A legendary box?
New achievement! Marked for life! You were marked for death by a god. That god entered your realm, yet you somehow survived. That's quite the achievement right there. Too bad the god will probably try to kill you even harder next time. That's quite the achievement, right? Too bad the god will probably try to kill you even harder next time. You are so fucked. Reward? You have received a platinum apostate box.
That was great, but my breath caught in my throat the moment I saw the next one. Finally, I thought. Fucking finally.
New achievement! Apex Predator. Holy shit. They're dead. All of them. Every last one. Not only did you kill more hunters than everyone else, but you killed the very last one. One could fill a very stinky swimming pool with the blood you spilled on the hunting grounds. You have become a very scary dude. Maybe I should be calling you Daddy instead of the other way around. Reward? Nothing! Just kidding. You have received a Celestial Predator box.
My hands shook. I could barely pay attention to the next group of achievements.
New achievement, Menage a Quattro. You survived a 4-way boss battle. Wow! In addition to the boss box you got from this, not to mention that Apex Predator box you're still probably freaking out about, you've gotten another prize. It's like Christmas. Reward? You've received a Platinum Orgy Guy box. New achievement, fuck this floor. You went down the stairs less than an hour after you arrived upon the level. Who needs to grind and grow in strength? Let's see how that works out for you. Reward? You've received a Platinum Here's Some Good Shit Because You're Gonna Need It box. Reward? You've received a Platinum Here's Some Good Shit Because you... Reward? You've received a Platinum Here's Some Good Shit Because You're Gonna Need It box. New achievement!
Pacifist.
You survived an entire floor without hurting a single poor mob. That's not how this works. Nobody likes you. Reward? You've received a Gold Pacifists box. New achievement! Collective Bargaining! More than 1,000 crawlers have received the exact same box at the exact same time. Working together, huh? We don't know if we like that. Better toughen up the rules a little. Better break a few extra kneecaps. Better toughen up the rules a little. Better break a few extra kneecaps. Better bury a few more bodies. Reward? You've received a Gold Scab box. Woo. Actually, doing the AI turns up the heat in here significantly. It's just a lot of energy. Oh. Carl, I got legendary boxes. I got a legendary Beguilers box for Charming Ferdinand and a legendary de-sleeving box for what we did to Dewwater. And that's on top of the legendary boss box. I also got a bunch of boxes for singing and an orgy box and a fan box I can open tomorrow. Mongo, Mommy got a bunch of great boxes.
Mongo made an excited squeak. Carl? Mordecai asked, looking at me. I got a Celestial. I said. Donut stopped dead.
What? And I didn't get one. I helped kill a god.
I reached over and gave her a pat. It wasn't for that. It was for killing the last hunter. I got a fan box, too. But it was for getting a bunch of viewers when Brittany and I met Queen Imogen. We'll open them up later together.
Damn.
We'll open them up later together. She harumphed. Well, don't just sit there, Mordecai said. his voice soft.
Oops.
Well, don't just sit there, Mordecai said, his voice soft. Let's see your prizes. And so we did. Donut went first. The boxes appeared, a line of them that stretched all the way across the room. The first dozen were bronze and gold adventurer boxes, filled with good healing and mana potions, along with a few potions of phase through wall, which Mordecai was pretty excited about, along with dozens of junk clothing items and weapons.
Excuse me. I'm not doing the AI barefoot, unfortunately, guys. I have to wear my narration socks whenever I narrate. Make sure that there's as little friction as possible on my feet so that it doesn't pick up in the mic. These are specifically designed by NASA, by the way, to make sure that narrators are not distracted by their own feet. Very high-tech shit. Very high-tech. Gotta get more water.
It sounds more like a sex thing than a NASA thing. Yeah, nerd socks.
Barefoot and toe ring. Yeah, I think next year, we will be selling our line of narration socks in our physical store. We will start physical distribution, by the way, very soon. Like, we're basically just ready to confirm all the things that are in place, and then we'll start selling our books on tape on our website. So that's cool. Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon will be available that way as well. We've been selling a bunch of those at cons and stuff. But we also want to put out those Sound Booth Theater branded narration socks. So watch out for those as well. If any of you guys are, looking to become narrators, if you guys are ambitious and you want to make sure that you have all the right gear, we will have narration socks available. Oops.
And we need like temporary butt tattoos too.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I wonder like what we can do to make sure that it's specifically for the butt. I think we can come up with something.
Weapons. Donut hadn't received a quest box for the Vengeance of the Daughter storyline. It was one of the few quests that had only gone to me. But for the Tina quest, she received a coupon for a free town upgrade. That was something we'd be saving for the next floor. I knew I'd be receiving the same thing for that quest. She received a skill potion from the Gold Pacifists box, which was for... She received a skill potion from the Gold Pacifists box, which was for upgrading her love vampire skill. In the Scab box, she received an upgrade to her brush, the enchanted fur brush of the ecclesiastic, which added an additional 10% to her constitution on top of the measly 2 points it normally gave her for getting brushed each morning. Damn it. Which added an additional 10% to her constitution on top of the measly 2 points it normally gave for ecclesiastic, which added an additional 10% to her constitution on top of the measly 2 points it normally gave for getting brushed each morning. The Masquerade prize counter box she'd bought from Chaco opened, revealing a few items and a spellbook. The Masquerade prize counter box she'd bought from Chaco opened, revealing a few items and a spellbook. The Platinum Good Shit box contained a potion that was pink and frothy. Mordecai whooped. Woohoo! Cosmic Buff Potion! Raises a random stat by 10 points. He'd mentioned these before. These were a different kind of potion than the standard buff potions that one could only take a limited amount of. These were a different kind of potion than the standard buff potions that one could only take a limited amount of. Mordecai, if you get one of these too, you should allow me to examine it for a bit at my table before you drink it. We'll want Donut to drink hers straight away. Carl. Okay. The Platinum Orgy box contained a coupon for a free mercenary purchase. The Legendary Boss box contained gold, healing scrolls, and something called a Flawless Jeweler's Gem.
Yellow. Yellow.
Donut said, examining the large jewel. She did not sound impressed.
Yellow-orange, really. I think it's a citrine. Not exactly my colour. Not exactly my colour. It clashes with my fur. It clashes with my fur.
Oh, wow! That's for upgrading your tiara, Mordecai said. We can't just apply it, though. We'll have to go to a jeweler. They have one in the Desperado. Oops. Damn it. I laughed when the Beguiler's box opened, revealing a single, shining nipple ring. It glowed red.
This is not funny, Carl,
Donut said, spitting with disgust. It disappeared before I could examine it. The de-sleeving box contained... The de-sleeving box contained 100,000 gold, which was a lot for a box, and a strange type of spellbook I'd never seen before. The book was thick, like a dictionary, with a bumpy leather cover. It was chained shut with a lock, and it bounced around on its own. Purple wisps of smoke came off it. I was immediately reminded of the book from the Evil Dead movies. I was immediately reminded of the book from the Evil Dead movies. Whew. Need to get more water. This is a very water-intensive voice to use for narration, by the way. I was immediately reminded of the book from the Evil Dead movies. I was immediately reminded of the book from the Evil Dead movies. Fuck! I can't say this Evil Dead movies with Carl's voice. I was immediately reminded of the book from the Evil Dead movies. Next to me, Mordecai let out a gasp. Donut took all the gear out and lined it up on the table. She immediately pushed all the lower-tier stuff away. We'd add it to the equipment pile for the next floor. She let me examine a phase-through-wall potion, which would allow us to pass through wood, stone, or metal walls. But Mordecai warned that we should only use them in extreme emergencies. They were very dangerous to use, especially if we were fighting someone with any sort of counter to it. Her love vampire skill, which she'd received for reaching 100 in charisma, had never worked really well until she'd used the temporary tiara on the previous floor that had effectively doubled her charisma. It normally allowed her to charm one intelligent opponent, and all damage upon her would be reflected to that opponent. It normally allowed her to charm one intelligent opponent, and all damage upon her would be reflected to that opponent. The problem was, the opponent could easily break away. However, when she'd increased her charisma to an epic level, it not only worked much better, it ended up working without her even having to think about it. It just happened automatically. Plus, it charmed up to 5 mobs at a time. We probably weren't going to get it to that level again anytime soon. But the skill potion added 3 levels to the skill, bringing it up from 3 to 6, which would make it more powerful than it had been. But most importantly, it made it so it would cast automatically in certain situations. The first spellbook, which we'd also gotten from Chaco's prize booth, was a strange spell. It was a team buff called Rigorous. It was basically a damage reflect spell, but only for debuffs and afflictions. Similar to my super spreader, but it didn't actively give the target the ailment, just the effect. Mordecai said that was an important distinction. Donut was not impressed, but she read it anyway on the guide's insistence. The mercenary coupon was interesting. It was just a piece of paper with a buff flex. It was just a piece of paper with a buff flexed arm on it. I picked it up.
Mercenary coupon! The bearer of this instrument is entitled to 100,000 gold worth of mercenary services at any participating Meat Shields locations. Should I take off that S? It's location.
Yeah, go ahead and take the S off. I'll take it off too.
Jules Deathwish asks, were you that kid who looked forward to reading chapters out loud in grade school? Yes.
Meat shields? Mordecai shrugged. Probably the name of the mercenary markets on this floor. There's one in both the Desperado and Club Vanquisher, and there probably was one in Laracos, too. Speaking of, you need to purchase a mercenary training arcade for the guild hall. I'll talk to Amani about it. Donut downed the cosmic buff potion. Her entire body sparkled with glitter. Then she harumphed.
Dexterity? I was hoping it'd be charisma. Lame!
Not bad. I was hoping for constitution. She pulled out the glowing red nipple ring. She made a little disgusted sound while Mordecai She made a little disgusted sound while Mordecai whistled.
Damn it.
She made a little disgusted sound while Mordecai whistled.
I'm so bad at whistling.
Now that's an interesting prize.
This is the most sexist description I've ever read, Mordecai.
Just ignore it and look at the stats. Donut slid it across the table. I picked it up to examine it.
Enchanted nipple ring of the superior fire demon's handmaiden. This may only be equipped on a quadruped. This may only be equipped on a female. Warning! Unless you're planning on getting a lot of weird and unnecessary surgery, you ain't equipping this. All nipple rings must be manually affixed the first time they are equipped. Oh boy, let me tell you about superior fire demons. These bitches are crazy. Worse than the minor demons. I know, that sounds chauvinistic and rude. You can't get away with saying shit like that anymore. Here's the thing. These bitches are goddamn crazy. Full stop. You look that shit up in Wikipedia and it'll be the first line. It'll say, these bitches are 3 pugs short of a grumble. It's not an opinion, but an absolute fact. We have a whole matriarchal hierarchy of demons who exist and fight and vie for control on the 15th level, all trying to catch the eye of one of the 4 brothers, and these superior demon nutjobs are always causing the most chaos. Which is saying a lot! You got the lesser demons, who are generally normal, though I wouldn't break up with one over text or call her fat or anything like that. Then, you got the more powerful minor demons, Then you got the more powerful minor demons. Those bitches are something else, but they're nothing compared to Those bitches are something else, but they're nothing compared to superior fire demons. These ladies are so batshit, the demon lords and queens require all of them to be chaperoned by hellspawn familiars everywhere they go, whose job it is to protect them from each other and themselves. It's Sheol's version of a Xanax. These familiars need to be protected from the superior demons. This nipple ring is one of the items they utilize. Wearing this nipple ring offers the following benefits. Allows the removal of cursed items. User is impervious to natural fire. User is impervious to lava attacks. User is resistant to fire-based spells. User will not lose health while inside Sheol. All spells with a fire attack now deal intelligence percentage. Intelligence value percent more damage. User may cast bitch what once a day.
We'd met 2 demons so far. Firebrandy, who'd been giving birth inside the Nightmare Express train on the 4th floor, and... who'd been giving birth.
Yep. I'm doing punch and roll.
Firebrandy, who'd been giving birth inside the Nightmare Express train on the 4th floor, had been a lesser demon. Slit, the makeup-encrusted kaiju-sized demon who wanted to kill Samantha, had been a feral minor. Slit, the makeup-encrusted kaiju-sized demon who wanted to kill Samantha, had been a feral minor demon.
Lesser demon.
Slit, the makeup-encrusted kaiju-sized demon who wanted to kill Samantha, had been a feral minor demon. I could only begin to imagine what a superior demon looked like. Wow. We're putting this on you right away. Mordecai said. It's great, and I agree she needs to wear it, but we need to talk about that spell it comes with. I looked up the bitch what spell.
Bitch what? Type, berserking spell, plus partial invulnerability. Target, self only. Cost, item-based. Duration, 20 seconds. Cooldown, once every 30 hours. Effect? You ever seen an angry, on-fire weasel tossed into a room full of chickens? You catch on fire. You are invulnerable to blunt damage. You catch on fire. You are invulnerable to blunt damage. Then you get really angry and kill every goddamn thing in the room. This is a berserking spell. Don't cast this inside of a Denny's. Or anywhere near people you like.
Wow, I said again, suddenly feeling uneasy. Mordecai, have you ever seen that spell in action? I have, and so have you. Remember that rage elemental? They're perpetually in that state. It's actually called Fire Berserker. They've been changing the names a lot more than usual. Donut, only cast it when you're by yourself. You have 3 fire spells now. Fireball, Magic Missile, and Wall of Fire. All 3 of them are going to be much more intense, so be very careful. It's good, but it's still not as good as your spell book. The chained spell book did a little hop on the table, as if it knew Mordecai was talking about it. Donut raised her paw and did an uncertain slap onto the book. It was a very cat-like move.
Why is it quivering? You know how I feel about things that quiver.
Well, that happens sometimes with the more powerful tomes, especially summoning ones. I picked it up. The book was squishy and warm. It wriggled in my hands, like I was holding a puppy.
Tome of Legionnaires of the Damned. Type, summoning spell. Cost, 25 mana. Duration, spell level times 2 plus intelligence level, seconds. Cooldown, 1 minute. May only have 1 active instance of this spell at a time. Target, may only be cast on recently unequipped armor or weapons. Total targets allowed varies based on multiple factors. Effect, there are a lot of angry souls out there. Like, a lot. It said if one has the ability to actually see all the wailing souls that filter through the edges of our world, one would go quite insane.
I'm just going to skip that part.
One would go quite insane. Quite insane, actually. All that death spiraling down, down, down into the drain. Where do they go? Why are they always screaming? Anyway, this spell reanimates physical weapons or armor pieces for a period of time with an undead, wailing spirit plucked straight from the river of falling souls. These will be temporary minions of the caster. Strength of the summoned symbiotes varies depending on multiple factors. Strength of the summoned symbiotes varies depending on multiple factors. Warning! In most cases, armor and weapons utilized with this spell will disintegrate upon the completion of this spell. Certain cursed and enchanted items may react in an unpredictable manner upon the completion of the spell.
I said percent instead of points. I missed that, so that'll have to the proofer will have to catch me on it.
Remember the swordsman guards on the 3rd level? This is kind of like that, but scarier. Wailing spirits are creepy. Now that Donut has level 15 in that laundry day spell, she can sow a lot of chaos with just those 2 spells. If she trains this one up, she can remove all the armor off a group of mobs and then reanimate their own armor with the spirits. And they will tear through the unarmored monsters like wildfire.
Holy...
Excuse me.
Holy crap, I said. I slid the still wriggling book back to Donut. You just got a lot more badass.
Excuse me.
She glowed as she applied the book. It let out a little scream as it disappeared in a puff of purple smoke.
I've always been badass, Carl. I've always been badass, Carl. I've always been badass, Carl. I've always been badass, Carl.
There we go.
Mordecai nodded in agreement. All of these loot items are really good. Like, really good. Yeah, my whole feed is filled with people who are getting some really good shit. Ellie got an ice staff she won't stop talking about. Bautista got a shape-changing ring.
Bautista can change shape now, too? Bautista can change shape now, too? I bet he and Katya will be having some really weird sex.
Part of it is the AI compensating for the skipped floor, Mordecai said, ignoring Donut's quip. Mordecai said, ignoring Donut's quip. But you got some of these boxes before that even happened, so it's likely in response to the Valte ramping up the difficulty.
My stuff is good, but I didn't... My stuff is good, but I didn't get anything for Mongo. And I didn't get a Celestial box either.
Mongo peeped in sad agreement. Mongo peeped in sad agreement. That nipple ring is practically a celestial. Same with the spell, Mordecai said. He turned to me. But now it's Carl's turn.
All right. It's another chapter in the books, as they say. Where are we at? All right, page 40s. We're at page 39. I think there's 680-something pages. So, we're getting there, guys. More water. And, as always, guys, don't forget, subscribe to this channel if you want to get more updates. I think I got one more chapter in me for today, and then we'll be back at it tomorrow. So, tomorrow, I have to get started a little bit earlier. I have to maybe like 10 a.m. Central. So Matt will probably be completely asleep during that time. But I'll do just about the same amount. I have like this appointment with this advertising company tomorrow, like at 1 o'clock Central. So that's why I have to get started a little early. But yeah, every day until we get to about 30% of the book, we'll have more cold reads. So yeah, if you subscribe to this channel, you will get updates. You will see every time I go live, in case you forget. Yeah, be sure to check the description below for more links. One more chapter here, and then I'll be done for the day. So be right back.
Yeah, Jeff has to get a tattoo every time like 10 minutes goes by when there's over 500 people in the chat, and I've been keeping track. So
I'm gonna go ahead and veto that because I don't want to have to stare at that during our work meetings, especially if he's got to get them
it'll all
on his
be
face.
below his neck, though. He'll wear
As long as
a
it's
shirt,
not
or they all have to
visible.
be on his ass. It's still, I mean, what is it, like 60 tattoos at this point?
60 tattoos, because like it's been going over 500
every time
a bunch
you
of
hit
times.
500, like
I mean,
you get a full butt sleeve. I don't know what the word for
a butt sleeve.
Oh, you guys want to hear the most recent mix of the DCC World theme that we're going to use for the is it okay if I play that?
Not that one, not that one.
Not that one?
Yeah,
because you're not finished with it yet.
Yeah, the drums. I'm not happy with the drums. Like we gotta adjust that. And plus, I need to give you my new version because my bass sounds better now.
Right on.
But what about a little bit of let's see. How about the EDM boss battle one?
Sure.
People really liked that one. And then just like, let's just do like a minute of it and then fade it out.
Cool.
Yes, everyone, there's a lot of music being made for Dungeon Crawler Carl. We have more than 20 tracks for just Season 1 of the audio immersion tunnel. That's what I'm sticking to for now. I hope we think of a better name for it. For those of you who know what cinematic audio is, that's what we usually call our full cast sound effects and music productions. But for legal reasons, we can't call it that for this particular show. I can't tell you why. It's a very secret. But we got to work around it. We got to work around it. So audio immersion tunnel. I mean, it's more thematic, at least, right? It makes more sense with the series.
I like tunnels.
I am still Donut. We're recasting a lot of different characters, but the important ones that you guys don't want me to change, we're not changing, right? So I'm still Carl, I'm still Donut, I'm still the AI, or at least half the AI. And I'm still Mordecai, but a lot of different characters are going to be recast.
Have you cast Samantha yet?
I was thinking Lori Catherine Winkle. Haven't
Never met Lori.
She's, you know what? Lori's one of the most fun, hilarious people to hang out with. So I think she'll get a kick out of this role. What do you call that specific synth that's like that one that's like kind of fades in and out? It's like a backwards attack. Annie is still with Sound Booth Theater, and she's actually going to be doing a little bit of Donut because she's better at making cat sounds. So she'll be like Donut's efforts. Like whenever Donut gets startled or something and is going to make a cat sound, it'll be Annie. But dialogue will still be me. Because she's much better at cat sounds than I am. Stewie's voice, I don't like change. Yeah, well, hey, what this means, though, is that the audiobooks, the classic audiobooks, will still be on Audible, and we're not changing those, right? So don't worry. Anybody who doesn't like sound effects and music and doesn't want the cast to change, that original version is still going to be there. So,
and will still be with all the future books, too.
Yep. Yes, you can get a cassette. You will see once we open our store.
Can I get an 8-track?
Yeah, but good luck playing it.
Yeah, the 8-track's coming. That's next year. Also, Betamax.
Laserdisc.
Laserdisc and Betamax. It's coming out in all formats, guys.
Oh, you could probably mime all the sound effects like Bjork. Like you could do all the sounds, like a whole album with just your voice.
Yeah, we're gonna put the audiobook will also be available on vinyl. Yeah, for sure. You can get the entire Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook set
on 50 vinyls.
Yeah,
I was gonna say. I mean,
no, that's
there's
way more than that. Way more than that.
Right? 100.
At least. That,
So
that'll
we have
cover
enough
probably
room
books 1 through 6.
for good sound. Yeah. 100 for one book.
Ooh, floppy disk. Yeah, 3.5. Well, what's the other one? 5.4 or 5.25?
5.25. Yeah, we're nerds.
Both of those. God, can you imagine how much you can fit on each of those? What are they like?
They have to be.
Meg,
they're better than vinyl, but not by much.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they would have to be, right? They contain data. But not by much. You know, like if you had to like extrapolate it into sound and it was in wave form, then you'd probably fit part of a song on one, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll try. We'll do our best. You're just gonna get a truckload of floppies delivered to your door.
Okay, Danny has an 8-track, so we're clear to make them now.
Nice. All right,
let's
cool.
start making 8-tracks.
One person in the audience.
my mom has one too.
Nice. Okay, so we'll get you your version.
dat?
Her version.
I used to have a Commodore 64, and we would use cassettes, but the data would be on the cassettes. So it had like a little cassette player was like the disk drive, and
Oh wow!
I don't know how much data was on that thing, but if you played it in like a real cassette, it was like the sound of a computer, the screech.
That's amazing.
Chapter 3. I took a deep breath, and the line of boxes appeared in front of me, moving all the way back to the room. Moving all the way to the back of the room. The celestial box sat at the end, physically huge. It was in the form of a giant, rotating skull with glowing eyes. My view counter was completely spiked, which was unusual for being in a safe room. The line of adventurer boxes started opening, giving me several good healing and mana potions, a bunch of those phase-through-wall potions, invisibility potions, and tons of junk items. The quest box from the Tina quest was the same item Donut received, which was a coupon for a free town upgrade. That wasn't something we'd be able to use right now. The Vengeance of the Daughter quest had said the reward would be the ability to loot the High Elf Castle, but we'd zapped the place down to the 9th floor, and it had likely landed someplace inconvenient. I'd also received a gold quest box for it as well. The box opened, and a group of items came out. I recognized what they were immediately.
Carl, is that what I think it is?
Donut asked. Donut asked with disgust. I believe so, I said, as the stick and poke tattoo kit entered my inventory. These were the same items Edgar the Tortoise used to place the magical tattoos onto Serena's signet.
Disgusting. I agree,
Samantha said. She'd suddenly appeared on the table, watching the boxes open. She had a Mongo feather in her hair. The Gold Pacifist's box.
Oh my god. So, I don't know, maybe this is old news for a lot of you, but recently I saw this one Facebook post or something. Someone captured a meme, and this lady was like, "Ooh, I just love it when he teases me with them bird leaves." Bird leaves. One of my favorite. It's my new favorite word, bird leaf. I'm going to start calling him that from now on.
She had a mongo feather in her hair.
A mongo leaf.
The gold pacifist's box contained a small upgrade patch for my jacket. It was a round peace symbol. Donut made a scoffing comment about the quality. The gold scab box contained a skill potion that disappeared before I could examine it. The orgy box gave me another one of the mercenary coupons. The platinum "here's some good shit because you're gonna need it" box also contained the same thing Donut had received, a cosmic buff potion. I nodded to Mordecai, who could barely contain his excitement. He wanted to examine it at his table before I used it. The platinum apostate box, which I'd received for not getting killed by Diwata, contained a ring. A nipple ring.
Ha!
Donut said triumphantly.
That's what you get!
She looked up at the ceiling.
Now that his nipples are full, there are other places he's not pierced yet. Now that his nipples are full, there are other places he's not pierced yet.
Yeah. Wait until I receive a legendary spay your cat at home kit.
That's not funny, Carl! Don't even make jokes! That's not funny, Carl! Don't even make jokes like that!
I had 3 boxes left. Here we go. The legendary boss box for killing Imogen moved before me. The legendary boss box for killing Imogen moved before me. Little metal bands around the box slipped and moved, opening with a ridiculous amount of fanfare. The glowing leather wristband fell onto the table with a heavy thump. It disappeared into my inventory. The legendary Scourge box opened with the same gaudy fanfare. This one I'd received for killing the most hunters on the previous floor. It contained 20,000 gold, 2 crafting table upgrade It contained 20,000 gold, 2 crafting table upgrade coupons, and a steampunk-style chest that hissed with clockwork gears. Weird. A box inside a box. It's a crafting table kit, Mordecai said. It'll contain a bunch of rare supplies for one of your tables. Huh, I said. That didn't seem legendary quality to me, especially compared to what Donut had received.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
That didn't seem. Where'd it go? Where did it go? I lost my place. That didn't seem legendary quality to me, especially compared to what Donut had received.
Were you about to say something? Nope, okay.
The Celestial Predator box appeared in front of me. It was in the form of a glowing and sparkling demon skull the size of a barrel. It spun in circles, twisting faster and faster as the top rose off of it. Lights shone out of it. Donut and Samantha oohed and awed at the light show. Mongo made a terrified peep and ran to the back of the room. The skull on the box opened its mouth and made a hissing noise as the whole box exploded into a display of fireflies, which rushed away and disappeared. All that was left was a patch. A full-sized back patch designed to be placed on the back of my jacket. That was it. I grabbed it before it could disappear. Donut stepped forward and sniffed at it. She made a face.
The stitch quality is just divine. The stitch quality is just divine. But the image itself is quite disgusting. Are you really going to put that on your back? And there's some odd stitching on there that's transparent. I can't tell what it shows. You're going to look like one of those punk rock people. You're not a punk rock person, Carl. You don't have the right skull shape for a mohawk.
Interesting, was all Mordecai said. My sleeveless jacket was called the Enchanted Anarchist's Battle Rattle. Before I even examined the patch itself, I knew this was a good prize, no matter what it was. I received +1 to all my stat points for each patch I affixed to my jacket. I had 5 total: the Earth symbol, the arrows, the bomb symbol, the anti-vampire Midnight Epicure patch, and the new peace symbol one. Affixing a full-sized back patch to the jacket would double the stat point boost benefit. Affixing a full-sized back patch to the jacket would double the stat point boost benefit. The Celestial patch was a thick, black piece of fabric embroidered with a white pile of skulls from various creatures, rising up into a pyramid. I rubbed my hand across it, and the entire fabric was covered in clear stitching, almost like it was sewn with fiber optic wire.
The Scavenger's Daughter. Upgrade patch. Back patch. This is a divine item. This is a unique item. This is a fleeting item. You may only affix one back patch. You may only affix one back patch at a time. This patch depicts a pile of scary skulls, all stacked up nice and neat. I wonder if there's a story there. If this upgrade patch is affixed to an eligible garment, it will imbue the following upgrades. If this upgrade patch is affixed to an eligible garment, it will imbue the following upgrades. Hidden until it is affixed and then worn. Warning! Upgrade patches are fleeting items. You may remove them, but they will be destroyed in the process. Warning number 2! This is a divine item. This means it gains differing abilities, buffs, and possibly debuffs depending on your proximity to certain deities and demons. It makes for new and exciting combinations.
What the hell, man? I muttered. I'd have to install it to figure out what it actually did. As I slid the patch over to Mordecai, along with the cosmic buff potion, I received a new achievement.
New achievement! Fashion? New achievement! Fashion of the Gods! You've received a divine item. This is an item that might have once been worn by a god, or sneezed on by a god, or used to wipe a god's booty, etc. You get that point. You get the point. Divine items behave differently than normal ones. They usually hide what they do until you equip it. The good news is, these upgrades are usually great and plentiful. They also gain new and exciting powers when one is in the presence of divinity and certain demons, too. The bad news is, certain deities may inflict nasty debuffs on you instead, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Don't worry, we programmed out the head-exploding debuff this season. That one was caused by Yarillo. At least, I think we programmed it out. Actually, I don't remember. Reward? You now have something new to be anxious about!
Shit. Divine items are the best items, Mordecai said. Don't worry about the potential debuffs. In my experience, they're almost always a good news, bad news thing. Like, they'll temporarily debuff you, but will give it all back, and then some at the end.
It really is ghastly. I like it,
Samantha said.
It's something Louis would wear on a date.
What? I asked, as I pulled out my new items. The upgrade potion was for +3 to my Find Trap skill, which moved it to 13. I would see pretty much any trap in the dungeon unless it was placed and deliberately hidden by a trap master. That was good. I pulled out the group of items for the tattoo kit. It was a long, sharp needle, some ink, a few stick things, a thing that looked like a piece of sandpaper.
I had no idea how any of this worked.
Enchanted Prison Tattoo Kit. So, you're doing time. Hey, I'm not one to judge. You wonder, how did I get here? How did I mess my life up so much? You figure, now is the day I'm going to turn everything around. Now is the day I'm going to make certain I get on the right path. I'm going to get out of here and get a job and make my family proud. Let me commemorate this important occasion by letting Skullfuck from the next cell come over and etch a poorly drawn dragon on the side of my face. This kit allows an artist to create a tattoo of their choosing upon the skin of a willing or unwilling target. Tattoo artistry is a skill that can imbue all sorts of magical buffs and upgrades, or it can just make certain that your next mugshot goes viral. It all comes down to the talent of the artist. It all comes down to the talent of the artist.
Is that your tattoo artist's name, Skullfuck? Good. Yeah, definitely, we need to go to prison. We need to go to prison to get this tattoo.
Yes.
What the hell am I supposed to do with this? What the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Well, I certainly hope it's not give yourself another disgusting tattoo. Hey, the dungeon stole my joke. I said the viral thing when you got one of the... I said the viral thing when you got one of your... I said the viral thing when you got one of your other tattoos. Stole my joke. I stole my joke. I said the viral thing when you got one of your other tattoos.
They say the sincerest form of flattery is when someone copies you.
No, Carl. No, Carl. That's just something thieves say to make themselves feel better about stealing other people's stuff. The sincerest form of flattery is when people cry when they meet you.
I fucking love that line.
I put it away for now. I picked up the pieces. I picked up the piece symbol patch. I picked up the piece symbol patch. It was small and round, almost identical in size to my earth patch. It was just black with a white, screen-printed peace symbol on it.
Upgrade patch. Small. This patch depicts a peace symbol. Oh, isn't that cute? Buzz off, dirty hippie. Go be smelly somewhere else. The Grateful Dead sucked and so does fish. If this upgrade patch is affixed to an eligible garment, it will imbue the following upgrades. Neutral mobs are less likely to fall into aggro. Plus 10% to dexterity. Plus 10% skill in playing the bongos. Warning. Upgrade patches are fleeting items. You may remove them, but they will be destroyed in the process.
That was unnecessarily rude.
I don't like fish either. Angel the Cocker Spaniel's owner was always listening to them and smoking weed. It made Angel even more paranoid. And let me tell you, that was the last thing that dog needed.
Donut continued to talk about the dog. Donut continued to talk about the dog as I picked up the large steampunk chest. The thing was ridiculously heavy. I hesitantly lifted the lid and peered inside. The description came in a different voice, like a television commercial.
All right, let me try and think of something for this. How about we go back to the 90s almost kids commercial.
Dr. Ratchet's Automaton Build-It Kit. Dr. Ratchet's Automaton Build-It Kit. This kit contains enough items to create over 15 automatons. Fun for the whole family. From personal servants to flame-throwing sentinel droids, this kit has a little of everything. The only limit is your imagination. And your insurance policy.
More water. Need more water.
Fun for the whole family.
Alan M. asks, will the whole live video be available after it's done? It will! And I am doing more cold reads, so like every day from now until I hit about 30% of the book. So probably like chapter 21 or something. I'll be doing another cold read.
And your insurance policy.
It then listed off dozens of parts. I recognized several of them as things I needed for some of the recipes in that instructional book I'd stolen from the production facility. Excellent, I said.
Excuse me.
The next item was a forearm bracer. This one was black and short and covered with little buckles. I already had two. The one that formed my Grull gauntlet, and the one on my left arm formed a buckler shield that supposedly disarmed opponents 1.5% of the time, but I'd never gotten it to work. I'd gotten that one from Katya. If I wanted to equip this new one, I'd have to ditch one of those two.
Enchanted right back at your personal shield. You ever meet one of those dudes who is always super quick to take offense to everything? You gotta walk on eggshells around him? Has some job where he wears a shirt and tie even though he looks like he just... Has some job where he wears a shirt and tie even though he looks like he just woke up in an alley somewhere? He's always saying, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" He hits on anything with a pulse. He wants people to call him T-Bone or Bulldog or something. He dies of a heart attack in his mid-40s. You get my drift. Well, this little auto-buckler is the armor version of that. This auto-deploying, overly enthusiastic, small-sized buckler has a chance to catch both physical and magic bolt attacks and toss them right back at the caster. It's not perfect, but who the hell are you to judge? Equipping this small buckler imbues the following effects. Catch physical attacks. Success percentage based off user's dexterity. Catch magical bolt attacks. Success percentage based off user's intelligence. All stopped attacks have a 75% chance to reflect back to attacker. All successfully reflected attacks have a 25% chance to double in power. Attacks must be caught with the buckler in order to work.
All right, I'm going to redo a little bit of this.
Has some job where he wears a shirt.
Just going to start over here.
Enchanted right back at your personal shield. You ever meet one of those dudes who's always super quick to take offense to everything? You gotta walk on eggshells around him. Has some job where he wears a shirt and tie even though he looks like he just woke up in an alley somewhere. He's always saying, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" He hits on anything with a pulse. He wants people to call him T-Bone or Bulldog or something. He dies of a heart attack in his mid-40s. You get my drift.
There we go.
My drift. This little auto-buckler is... You get my drift. Well, this little...
No, more space.
You get my drift. Well, this little...
There we go.
That's much better than your existing shield, and the bracer matches your other one better. And the bracer matches your other one better, Mordecai said. Agreed, I said, as I pulled the enchanted auto-buckler of the Peach Pit. Off my left arm. I toss it into our growing pile of weapons and armor for our faction wars team. I picked up the small nipple ring. It was a silver ring with an eyeball hanging from it. I tried not to sigh out loud. Donut was correct. It served me right for making fun of her own ring. I'd gotten this one from the Platinum Apostate box.
Enchanted Nipple Ring of the Defiler. This may only be equipped on a crawler who has been marked for death by a god. Hey, that's you! All nipple rings must be manually affixed the first time they are equipped. Wearing this ring imbues the following effects. Instantly know the religious affiliation of all nearby mobs and crawlers. Allows the destruction of church shrines without further ill effects from deities. Plus 25% damage against all clerics. The ability to cast Black Nimbus once an hour.
Lena could do all of these things already. I already knew what this spell was going to say when I pulled it up.
Black Nimbus. Type, involuntary abjuration. Cost, item-based. Duration, instantaneous casting. Affected target will suffer the effects of the spell for 30 plus caster's intelligence plus constitution minus target's intelligence divided by 2 seconds. Cooldown, once every hour. Target, single target. Effect. Has the same effect as wearing a shirt for the band Cattle Decapitation to church. Instantly removes target from the blessing of their deity and all associated buffs and effects. Will make it so target is unable to physically enter church or temple while the spell is in effect. Higher levels of this spell increase the possibility of forcing a smite upon the target. Warning! You probably don't want to cast this on members of the same religion more than 2 or 3 times in a row.
Mordecai said. Lots of divinity-themed items. That's never good. But you all got good stuff. Carl, get that patch on the jacket and see what it does. I'm already on it, I said, as I pulled off my jacket.
Nobody Google that. Don't do it, guys. He warned you.
Really, Carl?
Donut said as I leaned over the table. She sat on my shoulder and made little noises of disapproval each time I stuck the needle into the jacket.
Let's try it one more time.
Really, Carl?
Donut said as...
Really, Carl?
Donut said as I leaned...
Really, Carl?
Donut said as I leaned over the table. She sat on my shoulder and made little noises of disapproval each time I stuck the needle into the jacket.
You might as well have Bomo or Samantha. Sew this on. Or maybe we can blindfold Mordecai and get him drunk and have him do it. It's not that difficult. Your stitching is just abysmal. No! The angle of entry is crucial.
You know what? Why don't you go check on your social media board while I do this? See what the Princess Posse is saying about our Faction Wars team.
Sure.
You know what?
I'll go ahead and put this in.
I said through gritted teeth. Why don't you go check on your... Our Faction Wars team. She gasped and bounded off. Samantha and Mongo both rushed after her. I watched their dots move off on my map. As I did, I realized there was the white dot with a green cross of a hired mercenary on the local map.
We want that to be like a happy, excited gasp, not her upset at Carl gasp.
Okay. Got it.
About our Faction Wars team. She gasped. She gasped and bounded on. An extra dot. Where'd it go? Mordecai? Who the hell is in your room? Oh, yeah, he said sheepishly. I was gonna tell you about that. With my upgraded quarters, I was able to hire a room attendant. She has her own space off to the side of my quarters. It's not important. Who is it? Did you, hire a hooker or something? No, he said, sounding offended. Don't even say that. Of course not. It's nothing like that. Concentrate on your sewing. It is possible to ruin the item, so you do need to be careful. I grunted. I placed the peace symbol on the bottom of the jacket next to the bomb symbol. I was pretty sure it didn't matter what order these were affixed, but I wanted to be double certain that the back patch effect caught all regular patches, so I did the small one first. I flipped over the jacket and smoothed out the divine patch. It hummed with potential energy. I waded through my messages as I sewed. Donut was already in the messages group, live narrating some of the posts she'd received on the intergalactic internet. She was in the middle of telling everyone that there was a new fan group dedicated to Ellie, which was comprised of mostly males. Apparently, the whole old lady turned into a dominatrix fairy trope was a thing. Ellie was not impressed. Florin received another shotgun upgrade. I wasn't clear exactly what it was, but he was pretty stoked about it.
Maybe it wasn't clear?
It wasn't clear exactly what it was, but he was pretty stoked about it. He wouldn't answer any other questions about his situation. Just that he was in Ecuador. And that he was in contact with Lucia Marr. Katya had received an item that allowed her to move really fast. Neither Louis nor Brittany, who were both on Katya's team, had opened their boxes yet. Both were still broken up about the death of Faraz. Katya.
I'm worried about Brittany. The burn on her face still hasn't healed, and she hasn't stopped crying. She's just sitting there, clutching onto Louis.
Carl, maybe have Imani talk to her. She's pretty good with that stuff. Katya.
Yeah, I already asked her to come over. We'll see if it helps.
Donut.
We better keep an eye on her. I know a villain origin story when I see one.
Li Na had received some robe upgrade that increased her chain-throwing ability. Tran, who was also on Katya's team, was in a terrible state. He had lost his legs in the final moments of the last floor. Daniel Bautista was with him, helping him deal with it. Katya said Tran was more upset about the loss of his friend, Gwendolyn Duet, whom he'd been with since early on. I sent him a note asking if he was okay, but he didn't respond. Katya said he'd opened his boxes and had received a floating wheelchair in his pacifist box. It was the same sort of thing Audette used to zip around when she was in her human form. I was starting to get a little worried. About all this great gear. Mordecai thought it was in response to the rising difficulty. But just how more difficult was it going to get? We needed to get out there and find out. So far, not too many people had started venturing out. Hey, Mordecai, I said, as I rounded the last corner on the patch. I was using a thick, white thread and spacing the stitches the best I could. Do you think Samantha's presence will have an effect on my jacket? Doubtful. She's only half-formed, and she's not a true deity anyway. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. We'll see, I said, as I fixed the last stitch. The scavenger's daughter patch glowed for a moment, indicating it had been properly installed. I released a breath. I pulled the jacket on. I immediately felt my strength increase. A new bar appeared in my interface, directly below my mana. It was in the same place the blood bar had been on the previous floor, and it looked similar. The bar was empty, and it was labeled Soul Essence.
You have equipped a divine item. There are no deities in the area. The Scavenger's Daughter patch has gained the following upgrades. All patch stat point benefits are now doubled. In addition, plus 25 points to dexterity, plus 25 points to strength. You will receive a notification every time a deity enters the area. The Climb benefit, the Soul Reaper benefit, the Mysterious Bone Key benefit. This patch will imbue additional varying benefits when it is in the presence of divine entities.
I said, as I explored the 3 benefits. So, what'd you get? Climb, Soul Reaper, and Mysterious Bone Key. Mordecai blinked at me with a single eye. Oh, shit. Soul Reaper? He asked. His voice full of wonder. That's what it says. Is that good? He nodded. Oh, it's good all right. But you gotta be careful with it. It can be more dangerous than that berserkin spell Donut got. Read the description for yourself. I don't know what that last one does. I only knew what the first one did.
Climb! You can climb stuff better. Yahoo! What an exciting benefit. I guess that makes you a monkey.
I grunted and clicked the next one.
Soul Reaper. Yeah, baby, now we're talking. For every creature you kill with a melee attack, the Scavenger's Daughter patch is charged with the essence of the Fallen. Once fully charged, you may transfer this energy to a single melee attack, which will completely drain all the essence. This attack will have varying effects depending on the nature of the essence stored. The associated essence bar is now visible in your interface. The total amount of soul essence you may store increases each time your essence bar is topped off and then drained. In other words, the more stuff you kill, the stronger you get. Warning! You know how asbestos is really bad for you? Like, it doesn't hurt you immediately, but it builds up in your lungs and eventually screws you over? Actually, you know what? Just ignore this warning. Forget I said anything. Carrying corrupted essence around on your back builds character. You already have a ring that's doing much worse to you anyway. Woo. He looks like Weird Al. That's a demonstration of cattle decapitation.
They're actually a really good band. I like them quite a bit, but their shirts are a little... Can't wear them outside in public.
Lord Worm. Oh, that's hot. Look at that guy. Very interesting. It's doing much... Please continue. I will continue to narrate.
Just make sure you drain the essence bar each time it fills up, and you'll be fine. That skill is ridiculously powerful. Just don't store the stuff for too long. I once saw a crawler kill a group of gorgons and fill her essence reserve with their souls, and then she turned around and killed a country boss with a single attack. It turned the whole thing to stone and then shattered. Now, read me that last benefit. I don't know what it is.
Mysterious Bone Key. This benefit may only be used once, for obvious reasons. Creates a one-time use key to open a lock. Any lock. Any lock in the dungeon. Warning! Notice how I used all caps for the warning? Using this benefit will destroy both the patch and the item it is attached to. That means the jacket and all those ugly little patches That means the jacket and all those ugly little patches inexpertly sewn to it. That means the jacket and all those ugly little patches inexpertly sewn to it. It also uses a bone from the user's... It also uses a bone from the user's body to create the key. The more difficult the lock, the bigger the bone it uses. It might just be a finger. Or your clavicle. Or your femur. No biggie. This bone will not grow back. So make sure it's a lock you really, really want to open.
I said, after reading it to Mordecai. We're going to mark that as a last resort item. There really was a note about a similar item in the cookbook. There actually was a note about a similar item in the cookbook. I remember there actually was a note about a similar item in the cookbook, I remembered, but I couldn't remember the circumstances. I'd have to go looking for it. That back patch is really, really good, Mordecai said, but it's going to be hard to use. It's not as straightforward as Quan's celestial robe. That happens. This has the potential to be much better. It just won't be easy. It never is. Donut.
This is an outrage!
I sighed. Carl, what is it this time?
This is an outrage!
Donut repeated as she burst from her room. She jumped onto the table.
Carl, do something!
What are you talking about?
Our flag! They were talking about it online, and I forgot. They were talking about it online. And I forgot that each squad gets a bunch of flags to stick into the bad guys on this floor. We don't get to design the flag. They do it for us. Look at this.
The small flag appeared and landed on the counter. I started to laugh.
And that's it, guys, for today's cold read. So we got through, let's see, what is that? 3.5 hours. We got through how many pages? 49 pages. So yeah, it looks like 12, 13, 14 days, 3 weeks of of recording. We'll get this book done. So it's a big one, but it's going to be worth it. Oh, wow. Dude, look at that. Okay, I kind of want one of these shirts now.
Those are super tame compared to some of them.
All right.
Look at their album covers.
Looks like Weird Al, but
Yeah.
like his younger, more sinister brother.
Well, dude, I mean, Weird Al, he's like one of those guys that doesn't age. He looks kind of the same as he did like 20 years ago.
He said, keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
That's all you have to say. Keep scrolling.
All right. So, guys, that was our first cold read. Done and done. Matt, thank you again for coming and hanging out while we did it. Let's talk about a stretch goal. I think this will be the only stretch goal we make available. But everyone here, you're listening, you're going to know what the stretch goal is. You can go and tell everybody else so that maybe we can reach it over one of our next cold reads. So, again, we're going to do at least 6 or 7 of these cold reads. So there's a lot of chances to do it. But what I think, let's shoot for the moon here. 1,500 viewers at once. And we'll start a tattoo design contest for the fans. What do you guys think about that?
It's going to be a Bodie McBoatface thing.
It might be. It might be. 1,500 people. Do you guys think you can do that? 1,500 people? Get all your friends a toe ring. I mean, like a toe ring tattoo. That'd be hilarious.
Look, this person's negotiating down. Look at this.
No. 1,500. 1,500. Okay. So
800.
the way this will work is once we announce the competition, then anybody from does a nude calendar.
He already has one he sends out. So.
1,500 viewers, and we start the competition. The entire fan base will be able to submit your tattoo designs. The theme, it has to be Princess Donut, and it's gonna be like about that big. Okay, so like a coaster size.
That's tattoo. A big butt tattoo.
It's a big one.
Dude,
It's a big one.
7 feet tall?
I'm being grateful here. This is me taking one for the
What
team.
size is that exactly? How many?
Like a coaster.
2 inches.
Like a coaster. I don't know what is a coaster in diameter.
Of a cup?
A coaster is like 3 inches in diameter.
That's pretty big. You probably want something a little bit smaller because you want to do it all in one session.
How
too.
big is? Yeah, and is it going to go on the one cheek?
Okay, So like just one cheek.
cheeks.
I'm thinking left cheek. It's just my first instinct. We'll get feedback from other people, but when the competition starts, we'll have a limited amount of time for you guys to submit them, and then once the time is up, I will choose out of them. So 1,500. If you guys can get more folks in here, and it doesn't matter which day it is, we're gonna keep track. We're gonna see how many live people we ever have throughout the whole thing, and full on granny.
Oh my God, this.
It's not happening, man. Not happening.
I love this.
But yeah, so that's the goal. That's the goal. 1,500 views, and you guys get to have a competition. So
What
spread the
hell's a
word.
butt
Tell
sleeve?
everybody. Get on social media. Harass everyone you know. And hopefully we can make this happen. So again, tomorrow we're starting at 10 a.m. Central with the cold reads, and then every cold read day after that, it's going to be noon. 5,000
I'll try to pop
viewers
in tomorrow if I can.
People want you to scream like a goat.
Okay, Ivy.
Is that
Okay,
gonna
that'll
destroy your
happen
voice?
right before we leave. Right before we leave.
Okay, all right.
I'll give you guys a goat scream. Don't worry.
Do you want to hear Aaron's annoying cat song?
No, no. Let's save that for tomorrow. Let's save that for
Okay.
tomorrow. You guys get to hear it tomorrow. I don't know what the. Ahmed, do you have a way to check what our maximum was
I think
today?
675. No, I can't see the stats until the video ends. But
Okay.
I think I've been monitoring. I think 675 is probably the most that I recorded.
All right,
Maybe
we'll
we got up
report.
to 687.
We'll report in the Facebook group after we're done with the stream. So, yeah, 1,500 viewers, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get notifications whenever we go live. 10 a.m. tomorrow is when we start, but every day after that, it's going to be noon.
I want to say like as well, but I don't know what that means. So I don't know what
Liking-
that does. Yeah, it's
liking
like
the video?
everybody tells everybody like, please like, but I don't know.
It
I
probably
don't know
makes some
how
kind of difference.
it's no quantifiable resource for me, so I don't know.
Considering like you don't even get to see dislikes anymore unless you have a plug-in, which I definitely do. The don't likes kind of don't even matter, right? So
I'm gonna dislike it right now just so you can see it.
all right, cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We need to balance it, right? Isn't that the point? The object is to balance the likes and
It
dislikes.
says feedback shared with the creator.
Oh, shit.
We got a dislike
What
from
if
Matt
you
Dinniman.
are the creator?
No.
No.
All right, so again, guys, thanks so much for coming and hanging out. I hope you had a good time. Check the description of this video for a bunch of different links. We got, for anyone who's here who's like, what the fuck is Dungeon Crawler Carl? We have the Audible link for those of you who just can't wait for the audio to come out and you want to experience the entire book on your own. It is releasing July 2nd. It's available for pre-order now, but you can also get the paperback now if you order it. The link to that is in the description. Also, you can go check out Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, the first episode, which is free here on YouTube or on our platform. And that'll give you an idea of what the Dungeon Crawler Carl audio immersion tunnel is going to be like when we release that first episode on the same day that we release Dungeon Crawler Carl 6 on Audible. So lots of cool shit happening. Make sure to investigate all the links and fondle our description. And yeah, Matt, any parting words?
Thanks for having me. Come follow me on Twitter. Find the Reddit group. There's a couple of Facebook groups about Dungeon Crawler Carl 2, which I have nothing to do with, but they're out there. Come say hello. Send me nudes. Any sort of thing like that.
Right. Yeah,
I feel like if
absolutely.
we get an extreme close up, we could record that. We could do it on live stream. You're tattooing.
Oh
We
yeah.
could use like a proper camera so that it would
Yeah.
just be on the butt cheek.
We can put in the description. Oh, we're faking. This isn't actually on.
Oh,
ass.
good. That's good. We do a double fake. That'll work.
Yeah, there we go.
I am not buying a car, by the way. I'm going to the car dealership because my car is getting fixed. It's not a fun time. It's an annoying time.
Yeah, it's an annoying time, unfortunately. But hey, at least you'll be mobile again. Unless is it just a tune-up? It's just a.
Yeah, it's just. Someone asked is there a trailer for book 1? I don't think there is one. That'd be cool thing to do.
Not yet.
I'd share the shit out of that.
Not yet. Once we do
a trailer for book 1,
we will let everybody know.
Maybe we can make one.
Yeah, like an ad, a short ad with music, and
we'll do it. All right, guys. Again, thanks so much. Loved having you. Go brainwash everyone that you know into coming to our next stream so that you guys get a competition for a donut tattoo. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers,
Later,
everybody.
guys.